30 seconds.
Isaac Rupp and Jason Sukanik.
Now shut up and let me do my job.
The best in sports coverage.
You're just gonna be quiet.
This is Primetime with Isaac and Suk on 1080 The Fan.
Well, hey, what it do?
Oh,
What's up? What's going on?
there's a lot going on.
I'm going to sing talk today.
I don't even know. Oh, we're doing like cop rock?
Yeah.
I can talk. I can sing.
We're going to do a
McClure
musical.
style.
We're turning the show into a musical
Oh, I love it.
for you guys
I love musicals.
out there.
Musicals are great. Wicked, Jersey Boys, maybe a little Phantom.
Primetime.
Yeah, there you go. Primetime, the Broadway music. Everything can be a Broadway
Primetime the musical.
I mean, they got all the different things that have become Broadway musicals. Why not us?
You guys will probably have a song about fart drops.
Yeah.
And
I don't think so.
what
Can you
what
imagine?
would the other numbers be?
That's a good question. We should write a musical.
We
Yeah.
should.
There should be one just about the word bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be
Yeah, that's a
honest.
whole song for sure.
It's a whole song right there. Maybe a 4-day work week. I mean, there's lots of things.
Yes.
Look, if you can take the Book of Mormon and turn that into, I remember when they announced that, I was like, really? And dude, that thing is amazing. They did an incredible job with that. Go check out Hasa Diga Ibawai if you want to know what you can turn into a song. I assure you, there's nothing on our program that is as bad as that. And it turned out great.
Were you going to brag about Juan Soto?
No, I just said there's
Oh.
a lot going on. I got the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders right now. We're doing a Simpsons
Our
cast.
friends.
Our friends.
Do you remember when we had them in studio?
Yeah, I think they liked what you had going on.
They were
I
hitting on
got
me.
something's on. We got the college football playoff going on. It was a great weekend.
Not yet.
Well, it's
We have to wait
We got brackets.
almost
No, but we
2
get to
weeks.
talk about it for 2
We
weeks.
get to talk about it for 2 weeks. We can bitch and moan. We got the transfer portal. Oh,
Yeah.
and yes,
Yeah.
Yankee fan crying in their in their malt liquor is just fantastic. Due to the fact that the Mets have now signed the highest contract in sports history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sports
Sports.
history.
Yeah.
Not
That's
baseball history.
I just love for the first time.
Sports.
This is a little bit the Yankee fans and watching them melt down over Juan Soto is a lot like watching the SEC get mad that Oregon is out recruiting them. They're like, wait, you're telling me you have more money than us? The Yankees can't comprehend that the Mets owner has more money and they have more resources. And I find that fascinating. For the history of Major League Baseball, no one has had more resources than the Yankees. And now you're pissed that someone has more? It's the same. You're telling me Oregon can buy players? Yeah, they can.
Oh no, they were hurting you so
Yeah,
bad.
Yankees,
Oh,
welcome to
no.
my world.
Exactly. Oh no, you got outbid for someone. And by the way, you got
How
outbid.
about never even being in the bidding?
Yeah, you got outbid by $5 million. He didn't want to go there. For whatever reason, apparently his chef was mistreated. Yeah, he didn't like what you had going
Well,
on.
look, let's make no mistake, okay, because we often do make mistakes. This,
I'll make 17 before this show is over.
no mistake. It is a grotesque overpay.
Oh, absolutely.
But
It's not my money.
it is good that he didn't go to the Yankees or Dodgers, because when I saw the Dodgers were a finalist,
I know.
I was pissed. I mean, it's almost weird, but it is weird to say that the Mets are kind of the little engine that could
Yeah, even though
among
we're-
the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers.
Well, the Dodgers had their 1A and their 1B because Michael Conforto signed with the Dodgers. So, it's just as good as
I
Juan
mean, imagine
Soto.
if the stupid Dodgers got Soto, they would have Soto, Ohtani.
And they can
Betts-
because of the whole Ohtani deferred money thing.
They would have Soto, Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman in their lineup.
Uh-huh.
Am I missing anyone?
Max Muncy.
Muncy,
Yeah.
all the other guys. But then their rotation would have, because they're going to get this Sasaki guy
Yep,
from the Dodgers.
Yep.
Or I mean from
The new Japanese star.
Japan. And so you'd have him, Yamamoto, Shohei
Mhm.
in the rotation, along with, oh, by the way, Tyler Glasnow, who everyone forgot about. He still won it anyway.
Yep.
And then who am I missing? There's one
they'll
more.
sign that Korean kid that's coming over too. Apparently Korea's posting their best pitcher too.
Is there
He'll have
another
that-
starter? Well, it's Kershaw.
Yeah, Kershaw if he ever comes back.
But I mean, come on, they
Bueller
can't
signed
get
somewhere else, right?
Bueller. Yeah, they don't even want Bueller.
Yeah, they're like,
That's the thing. The Dodgers are like,
yeah.
Bueller and Flaherty, who would be the top of my rotation
They're like, yeah,
by a lot.
yeah.
They don't even want them in LA.
No.
So
But at
I'm
this-
glad the Dodgers didn't get him. I'm glad the Yankees didn't get him. But I'm also happy the Mets got him in a way because I think he's a little overrated.
He probably is.
I mean, he's good, but
he's better than good.
he's a superstar, but he's not $765
No.
million
But again,
And but just telling you, I'm a Royals fan, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm coming from a completely different place on this, and it is that I cannot wait for this to fail miserably. There is a whole new generation of Mets fans about to endure elite level sports disappointment, and that makes me happy.
Like, it is cute to me, though, that, like, some people are trying to paint the Mets out like the little engine that could. Their owner's worth $25 billion. Like, what? Again, I'll take it back to Oregon. They're like, oh, that team out west. Your owner is worth $45 billion. No one will outspend you. All the chairs in your facility are made out of Ferrari leather. You got every chair you have made by Ferrari. You don't get to do the little team out west. Who was it did you watch any of the post-game celebration stuff for the Big Ten?
Some of it, yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I don't know if
not all of it.
I don't know if we have the clip. I think Dirt and Sprague may have played it this morning, but I was watching it and I couldn't believe it. Like there was whoever the lady that was interviewing Dan Lanning at the end of it, she was like, no one believed it. Little Oregon was like doing this, like acting as if Oregon was like SMU. They were going on she went on this big long spiel about how no one believed. You've been the number one team in the country for like 2.5 months.
They started in the top 5.
You started in the top 5. You've played for 2 national championships. Like we have got to stop this narrative that like, it's just this team out west. Like, the Mets, the little upstart Mets. You don't get to be the upstart Mets when your owner has $25 billion and is like, how much does it cost to get the best hitter in baseball? $51 million. Yeah. It's like SMU going into the ACC and refusing any TV money. Like they're like, what? You don't want any money? Yeah, it's going to be like $200 million you're going to lose out on. And all the boosters at SMU are like, yeah, we're fine with that. Like, we find that in the couch cushions.
Yeah, the Oregon one is interesting, but I think a lot of people do think that about Oregon.
The people are dumb.
They still don't buy it.
Well,
they're going to have to win a title in order for people to shut up about that because Oregon still has that reputation. Yeah. And I'm sure that will continue now that they've given up, what did they give up, 37 or whatever it was to Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State went up and down the field on them.
But as far as the Mets, when it comes to like the Yankees and Dodgers, I kind of think they are like this little cute little guy.
Well, they're not going to be.
But then there's all of us out here in real baseball land who have to actually put a good team together on a budget.
Yeah, we're like, what was it? 765. That's fine. And then when someone was asking their general manager today, I think it was actually their president, but someone was asking him about like Pete Alonso. They're like, oh, does this mean that Pete Alonso can't come back? There's no resources? And he looked and kind of smiled and he goes, I think our owner has proven that if we want resources will be made available. I love it. This idea that like, what?
Wait, are they saying they don't want him?
Well, I think the idea was because they paid $51 million a year for 15 years to Juan Soto that they can't possibly afford to pay Pete Alonso. And they're already laughing at that and being like, why is that? This idea that somehow money is going to be an obstacle when you have a guy that's worth $20+ billion and clearly doesn't care where he spends it. Money isn't an object. We have a real hard time wrapping our head around rich guy world. Like if you were worth $20 billion, would you really give a damn what you had to spend for the Kansas City Royals to be the best team or the Kansas Jayhawks? No, you wouldn't. You're telling me that if you were Phil Knight, that Kansas would ever get outbid on an NIL contract, ever. You may not get everyone, but you're telling me that you would ever allow them to be outbid? Of course you wouldn't. What else are you going to spend your money on?
So what is your point here?
Well, just this notion, I like it made me think of it because everyone's like viewing the Mets and the Ducks today. I've seen it all weekend about how it's like it's like the little upstart. Like no one can believe that like these teams out of nowhere. And I'm just kind of sitting there scratching my head being like, how on earth is anyone viewing it in this light? Do we just make up narratives?
Yeah,
it's like when LeBron won a title back in Cleveland. He's like, not even supposed to be here. Just a kid from Akron who was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when you were 16 years old.
Had tattooed Chosen One on his body at 18.
But I couldn't believe that. All that stuff with
That's
the
my
Mets,
favorite one.
and then this. See if you can find that clip of Dan Lanning in the postgame. I know Dirt and Sprague had it, but I really wanted Dan Lanning to turn to the lady who was interviewing and be like, "Are you serious right now? What?
Well, yes, we do just make up narratives. Welcome to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jace.
Yeah.
And
As someone
no one watches, really.
As someone points out, you know who had the highest payroll in
Yeah, the
baseball
Mets.
last? The Mets.
Yeah.
So why are we acting like this is like, I can't believe they paid $765 million for Juan Soto. I can't. I can't believe it. He paid $50 million for a year for, what was it, Scherzer and, what's his nuts?
I have a Soto exercise for you today.
And I've got your audio, Suk.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear how
we're
the
on
ducks
fire.
are framed?
Yeah,
Can
this
we,
is how
can
it
we
was
slow
framed.
down real
No, there's
quick?
too much.
Yeah, we're a freight
There's
train.
too much.
right
It's a
now.
freight train of sports
Okay.
hell.
Okay.
The Ducks have been overlooked for far too long.
That's right.
How were you able to
That's
bring
right.
this trophy back to the West Coast in year one of the Big Ten?
I didn't do anything. These players, man, these players put it on the line every single day. They work their asses off. They're so proud to be Oregon Ducks. They're so proud to represent every one of you. The fans, the players, our administration. We got it from top to bottom. It's unbelievable. We got great people here. And tonight they went and won the damn Big Ten.
You were top 5 in the country.
I love it.
You've been number 1
Coach,
for
you're
most of
undefeated.
the year. You have the number 1 recruiting class in the country. You've played for 2 national championships. I think you're like the 4th winningest program in the last 20 years. What are you doing? They've been overlooked for far too long. What? Were you underdogs in
That
this
to me
game?
just says that the person interviewing
Yes.
them was not familiar with their history.
100%. That is in
She
her,
covers-
That is in her head.
She covers someone else for some other.
Yep.
I mean, if it's the Big Ten,
Yes.
yeah, she's just not familiar with who she's interviewing.
That's right. And she doesn't. She thinks like a lot of people think, and that is, oh, Oregon's cute, but come on, they're not really the best team. She probably thinks that.
I just listened to that and I was like on my couch. Like, you've got to be kidding me.
I think we're getting Heisman finalists here in a moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
The votes have to be in. I saw that this weekend.
Okay. Well,
I think we're going to get it'll be more interesting to see who ends up there because it's a 2-person race, and I think we all know who's going to win
is
it.
that going to be on SportsCenter?
I would assume it's on
It's
SportsCenter.
not going to be on Monday Night Countdown.
No, it should be on
All right,
SportsCenter.
well, I'll just leave it on SportsCenter.
I mean, look, Hunter's going to win it, and if it's not Hunter, the only other one that even has a sniff is Aston Genty, and no one's going to let Boise State win that. So, hopefully Gabriel gets there. Hopefully old Cam, Scattaboo, hopefully he ends up there.
Scattaboo.
Dylan Gabriel deserves to be there, but it's Travis Hunter's going to win the award. I mean, I think it might be a absolute landslide.
All right, well, we'll keep you posted on who gets to go to New York. We've covered a lot already. Maybe we should go home.
I'm exhausted.
That was tough.
I'm tired already.
Well, we're going to start with the poll. And as you can imagine, it pertains to Oregon and the college football playoff. And we'll do that next on The Fan. Hey, what's up? It's Rob sticking around for Window Nation, where we're teetering toward mid-December. So you only have a couple, 2-3 weeks left to take advantage of what is the best deal of the year. It's the end of year sale at Window Nation. So if you need windows for your house, you can get 50% off all window styles right now, plus 0% interest for 72 months, which is six years. Previous deals were not 6 years, and they'll give you an additional 10% off just to put you right over the hump and make the call. So you can call them to get a free no-obligation quote on the books at 866-90-NATION, or you can log on to windownation.com. Give your home the gift of windows this holiday season. It'll pay you back in spades, not only in your property value, but also your energy bills. And all of their windows come with a lifetime warranty, and they will install in a day or less. To get on their schedule, 866-90-NATION or windownation.com. And please tell them you heard it from Isaac on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
If SMU, who comes in at 8, loses to Clemson and they're out and Bama's in, what say you with conference championship games?
I think that it is an SMU problem. I think if Miami or Florida State or Clemson were in the exact position SMU is in right now, this would be a moot point. We would know they're in. SMU has no brand equity built up.
Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Eastbound Highway 26, good time to be on the road with only minor slowing approaching the Vista Ridge Tunnel. Southbound 217 slows down approaching 99 West. I'm Kim Vestal with traffic.
This traffic report brought to you by
TriMed.
TriMet is hiring light rail technicians. Starting pay over $41 and a hiring bonus of $7,500. Learn more at trimet.org/maxtech.
When you gotta have Christmas music, listen to 97.1 Charlie FM this holiday season. Charlie's got the good stuff.
97.1 Charlie FM, Portland's fun Christmas music station.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the Warehouse Club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene. Video Only.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free.
By the way, this text wins the day. Bitch, the musical masterpiece from the brains behind Primetime, featuring tracks such as America, yeah, George Bush, Power Bottom, I Do Knew That, with a power ballad from Isaac Robb called Rock Chalk, Bitch.
America, yeah!
I love that.
I mean, that's power bottom the hell out of him. I mean, look, I think the blueprint there is laid out. I mean,
it's great.
I like that the name of it is just Bitch.
Just Bitch.
Yeah,
Well.
the Primetime story.
Get your tickets now.
Yeah.
Coming to the Schnitz, probably.
Maybe we can get Lin-Manuel Miranda to get behind that.
Oh, hey, speaking of bitch and bitch drops, we got a couple good ones on Friday when you weren't here, Isaac.
I want to make sweet, sweet football love with Dan Landry. Damn it.
That's not. Wait, what?
I want to make sweet, sweet football love with Dan Landry.
Oh, I thought you presented that as if they were bitch drops.
Oh, no. I'm just in the drops realm.
You want to make love with him?
No,
It was supposed to be Dan Campbell.
I want to make sweet, sweet football love with Dan Campbell.
Not Dan Lanning?
Not Dan Lanning.
But the drop says Dan Lanning.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All right.
AIDS. I have AIDS.
Whoa.
There's that too.
Yeah.
You just misspoke.
That happened. I did.
It's like me when I asked him if it would be on the quarterback for how he handles Andy Kotelnicki's offense.
Same sort of thing.
Just misspoke.
There's only one man that I want to make sweet, sweet football love with, and that's Dan Campbell.
Well, here's our poll question today. It's on X, at 1080 The Fan. Pertains to, as you might imagine, the college football playoff. By the way, we got the lowdown, the LD, on the Heisman finalists.
Yeah.
We're going to get them within the next 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes.
And it's coming from Monday Night Countdown.
With Ryan Clark's giant cowboy hat.
Well,
and
they are
bolo
in-
tie.
They are in Dallas.
Yeah.
So we'll let you know. Okay, here's the poll question today on X at 1080 The Fan for Oregon. Which of these college football playoff games would you most want to see? And these are all possibilities. Okay? Lanning versus Dilly Dilly. You know what that means?
Yeah, that's Kenny Dillingham. Which would happen in the...
That would happen. That would happen in Dallas if it happened.
You would each have to win a game.
Ohio State in L.A., Texas in Dallas, or Georgia in Atlanta. Vote, and vote hard. All of those things could happen.
Georgia with the backup quarterback, by the way. It sounds like Carson Beck is donezo. Looks at the whisper is the UCL injury.
Do you think that, well, keeping with the poll question, we can talk about Carson Beck later.
Yeah.
And Georgia's chances without Carson Beck later. But which of those would be the most interesting to you? Because it is true that Oregon could have to go through 3 straight in the SEC.
Yep.
Right? Yep. You could get Tennessee, Texas, and Georgia, potentially.
Yeah, the craziest one would be there is a path, and the most likely path, if chalk holds out, where you, to win a national title, would have to beat Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia in back-to-back-to-back
And
weeks.
Texas would be in Dallas.
Yes.
And Georgia would be in Atlanta.
Yes.
And Ohio State would be in LA, which is why I put all 3 on there.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I think the most interesting game is probably Georgia. One, the brand, Dan Lanning. The last time you saw Georgia, 49-3, it was an embarrassment. I think that's the
That
one.
was in Atlanta, right?
I do believe the national title game is in Atlanta.
No. The 49-3 game was in Atlanta?
Yes. Yes, it was. The, quote, neutral site. Yeah. So I just think that, in general, to me, would be the most interesting one. Texas would be really good, too. I mean, the answer is either Texas or Georgia, but Georgia would be for the national title game. Texas would be for the right to go to the national title. So,
tell you what,
Georgia. Give me Georgia.
So I'm down to 2. I want to see them play Arizona State. I think that would be fun.
Sure.
Lanning's defensive mind against Dillingham's offensive mind.
So Arizona State, in order for that to happen, Oregon would have to beat the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, and then Dilly Dilly would have to take out the winner of Clemson and Texas, which should be Texas.
Correct, and they would meet in Dallas if they played.
Yes.
I think that one, or Texas. Playing Texas in Dallas is juicy. One, Georgia in Atlanta, not as sexy without Carson Beck. Already played Ohio State. So I think the Oregon-Texas matchup in Dallas, I don't know, I might vote for that one.
Yeah?
Yeah. With a little side dish of Dilly Dilly.
Well,
I think that'd be cool to see them play.
I just know that if and look, we sit here and I know, like, everyone's from Oregon is outraged over.
What are they outraged about? I don't even know.
The draw. I mean, my God.
They're the number 1 seed.
Yeah, Dirt wouldn't shut up about it.
Might be coming up in Stockwatch as well.
Joel Klatt was losing his mind about it.
So they think that they should be reseeded?
Well, I mean, the idea is that Oregon being the number 1 seed and clearly the best team in college football, they've proved it all year long, that they have the toughest path. Again,
do they?
If it holds up, you will play Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia, which, regardless of what the seeding says, are probably the second, third, and fourth best team in college football. Whereas you look at a team like,
Penn State.
Let's take Penn State, right? That Penn State has to beat SMU, and then they'd have to beat Boise State, and then they would have to play some incarnation of Indiana, Notre Dame, or Georgia. That is a better path, but it's an extra game than what Oregon has to play.
I mean, I think don't you feel though that to win a title this year, you're going to have to beat 2 of the Big 4, and by the Big 4, I mean Oregon, Texas, Georgia, or Ohio State.
And this is what,
don't you think?
And
100%.
Oregon, there is a scenario, like you said, that Oregon may have to go through 3 of those, and that is tough.
Yeah.
But again, they get a bye. They don't have to play for 24 days.
I think that people would just rather have the draw on the bottom half of the bracket that
I get
that
it.
Boise's getting or something like that.
Well, and now Georgia's quarterback's hurt. So yes,
Right.
that half of the
Right.
bracket looks tougher or looks
Better
easier
than
than the top half.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think that the whoever wins it is not going to be easy.
No.
Right? It's going.
No.
You're going to have to go through a couple of those big time teams.
And this is what just first off, let me just say I love the fact, even though I only want to make football love with Dan Campbell, I love.
You mean Dan Lanning?
I want to make sweet football love with Dan Lanning. That's a fake AI drop. It was never said. It's ridiculous. Keep this up, Buck. You're gonna get Luigi'd.
What?
This is ridiculous.
Whoa.
Hey,
we're going there.
God.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
That story is bananas. But like this is with Kirby Smart wins the SEC title, and he immediately starts bitching about the schedule that he's had to play.
That might also show up in Stock Watch.
Whiny little bitch. Everyone
God.
and I hate
whiny bitch.
The biggest thing about college football that I despise is that everyone, no matter what,
bitches.
Yeah. And this is where even though I don't want to make football love, only Dan Campbell, this is one of my favorite things about Dan Lanning. You will not hear one.
That's absolutely true.
About Oregon having to potentially play Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia. And I freaking love, you know what he's going to say? I don't care. Tell me where we have to go play. And just once, I want to hear Nick Saban or Lane Kiffin or Kirby Smart or Dabo. Just once.
He addressed that tough path on the selection show. Here's what he had to say.
What an opportunity.
Thank you.
Right? I mean, look, in our world, we always talk about red light, green light. Focus on the things you can control, right? That's what we're going to focus on.
Amen.
And, winning a national championship isn't supposed to be easy. You can ask Coach Saban. It's not supposed to be easy. So if our path's a little bit tougher, kudos to us if we go through it and take care of business.
Yes. Boom. Like and listening to the Joe Klatz of the world talk about how, this should be set up, for the top seed in the NFL, right? Which is supposedly the toughest of all, to get through. Guess what? The AFC can be harder than the NFC. And there can be a team. Remember when New Orleans had to go on the road to play a game against the Seattle Seahawks in the Beast Mode Quake? That Seattle team was a sub 500 team, but New Orleans had to go on the road to play them because they won their division. Right? I'm sorry, but the path to get to the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills is harder than it is the Detroit Lions. And you don't hear Sean McDermott bitching and whining about the path that he has to go through. Yes, he's going to have to go through the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, he's going to have to go through the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to the world. College football absolutely loves to sit there and play the violin for whatever circumstance. I just could not believe that Kirby Smart, in one of the first comments he made about winning the SEC, is to take a shot about the road schedule that he had to play.
Directly blame the commissioner.
It's just as if the commissioner and the SEC doesn't do everything they can to protect you. And so that's my thing about, if you're an Oregon fan.
They played 8 games in the state of Georgia. They're fine.
If you're an Oregon fan and I hear you complain about the path forward, I'm just going to look at you dead in the face and be like, dude, quit being a whiny bitch.
So here's the thing.
Dan Lanning ain't going to complain about that.
The NCAA in the college football playoff and all these powers that be, they have certainly opened it up to criticism.
Sure.
By making it so subjective. And I think that they want it that way. Like when you think of because you saw the presentation of the college football playoff bracket yesterday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Wait, was that yesterday? Was yesterday Sunday?
Yesterday was Sunday.
It was yesterday morning.
Yeah.
It was a long weekend, a lot of football. When you saw that, what did they make it look like? The whole presentation.
What are you talking about?
They made it look like March Madness.
Yeah, March Madness.
Because they had reporters out at each of the different parties at SMU and Clemson and this and that. And what I'm getting at is they love all of this debate. They love that you're sitting there hot over people bitching about X, Y, and Z. They love that Kirby Smart's griping. They love that there's controversy between SMU and Alabama. The reality is some of these narratives, I think particularly the SMU-Alabama one, are kind of absurd.
Yeah.
Like that was not... Alabama doesn't really have a good debate. I mean, they certainly, because it's subjective, they can present their argument. It's not a very good one, but I think the College Football Playoff Committee wants that because that's what creates the Joel Klatt tweet, which which goes viral. That's what creates the debate and the conversation around their sport. They love it. We're falling right into the trap, and they don't want to change it. I mean, I think that I just feel like that's part of the fun of, well, it may be annoying to you. It doesn't bother me because I roll at a lot of it, but I think it helps the sport. And I think they want it that way. And that's part of it.
We're going to talk about it for the next 2 weeks. Maybe not us,
Exactly.
but the whole college football
that's
world
right.
has fodder for controversy.
Well, and we're going to talk about the Alabama SMU thing. The one thing you said, which I could not agree more, is Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
And his attitude.
I love it.
I don't know how many coaches. I can think of two off the top of my head, and I watched every second of all of those games.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a third one, but the two coaches that jumped off the page at me as bitching about something that they cannot control, which is ultimately going to hurt their team and did, one was Rhett Lashley and the other was Steve Sarkisian. And Dan Lanning just doesn't do that.
No.
He takes that whole
I love it.
That whole variable or that whole element, because he knows he can't control it, even if he may think that there's a disparity in calls or they're not calling holding or they're calling too much holding, whatever. He doesn't care because he knows he can't control it.
It's not worth their time and energy.
And that ultimately helps his team because his energy goes to a different place. Sark was the worst at it. And look at what happened with Texas.
Yeah.
They blew it.
Blew it.
Because he's over there bitching about, like, that halftime interview with him was a joke.
Yes.
And I get it. He may be pissed and he may have a point. But, dude, you're doing no good sitting there griping about all the holding calls.
You're certainly not helping your players.
If you didn't see his halftime interview, he basically just said, well, I hope they start calling him on the other team.
Yeah.
And dude, your players cost you so many points in the first half by your own penalties.
Yes.
So, I don't know, man. I agree with. I think that gives Lanning, well, it's one of the reasons that makes Dan Lanning one of, if not the best coaches in college football, right there.
I agree. It certainly makes him one of my favorites because I just love that he will never say anything about this path forward. And I would just tell everyone, if your head coach and your players aren't saying anything, let it go, man. You want to win a national title? I love that he said an opportunity. What an opportunity to, by the way, go stomp a mud hole in the rest of college football, put up the double birds and say, yeah, we did this. And by the way,
show every blue blood in front of you. You can handle them.
And by the way, chances are it's not going to be chalk. It never is chalk, right? I mean, you could end up playing Tennessee and Clemson, and I promise you that's not a tough path. It's just not. Yeah, or Arizona State or whatever. We always look at something. How many times in the NCAA do we do this and we look at the draw and we're like, oh, they've got the best draw, and then all of a sudden it turns out that it's
and they lose.
It's nothing that we thought.
Yeah, or the team that gets all the way to the final had the toughest draw.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. It matters, but you just got to play it out. I mean, I just think too on the Lanning thing, real quick. More people in life should take a page out of that book.
Yeah.
You save a lot of energy by not worrying about things you can't control.
This is the draw. Go play it.
And it can help you in life.
Yeah.
Look how much it helps Dan Lanning.
He's done pretty well.
Now radio hosts in Portland want to sleep with him.
No. Maybe fool
You know
around
what?
a
I'm
bit,
going to cook on your grill.
Yeah, and you get a chance to go cook on some people's grills.
But it is, from the coach perspective, it is quite an eye roll to listen to all the bitching. The coaches, though, they're just
James Franklin talking about penalties.
Maybe that's the other one. The other one was him. And
by the way, there was like 2 penalties. Now,
two more penalties.
Well,
now,
let's
again,
not start that
we'll
right
start
now.
that.
We got a whole segment
whole
on
segment.
Oregon, Penn State.
Yes.
But back to the poll question. For Oregon, which of these college football playoff games would you most want to see? Lanning versus Dilly Dilly, Ohio State in L.A., Texas and Dallas, or Georgia in Atlanta? Does sound like Carson Beck is done. Vote hard on X at 1080 The Fan. When we get back, I want to go through that. Like, if you are a Duck fan, what do you do in terms of going to see your team? How do you plan this out?
That is tough.
It is.
Did you watch any of the Big 12 title game?
Yeah. Like I said, I watched all of them.
There were 7 people in the crowd, like 7. I mean, it's there. And the ACC didn't have a lot. The Big 10 get-in price was $12. That's the one thing. This is all for TV, but they are sacrificing the in-game experience for TV because there just isn't enough fans to go to all these
for
things.
all the games.
For all the games.
Yeah. So let's get to that and talk about the college football playoff rankings next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan, the college football playoff field is set with the Oregon Ducks having the 1 seed and a first-round bye. They'll play the winner of Tennessee versus Ohio State, which takes place next Saturday. The Ducks will meet one of those 2 teams in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, Georgia has the 2 seed, but they will be without their quarterback for the playoff as there's no timetable for for Carson Beck's return after injuring his throwing elbow in the SEC Championship, and he seeks treatment for it. The college transfer portal is officially open. Some notable names entering the portal include quarterbacks Miller Moss of USC, Tyler Van Dyke of Wisconsin, Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, and Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Cowboys hosting the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Kickoff is at 5:15 with the Bengals coming in as 4.5-point favorites. Some injury fallout from the weekend includes Panthers running back Jonathan Brooks tearing his right ACL for the second time in 13 months. Blockbuster news in baseball as slugger Juan Soto has a new team. The New York Mets giving Soto a 15-year contract worth $765 million. That deal goes down as the largest in professional sports history. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
This is your home for year-round NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ask about Wi-Fi backup for your business or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract, plus for a limited time. Ask about an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ins 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hey, it's Suk for A&E Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Before getting a new train system installed, I was guilty of getting one quick fix after another. Then I found a team that educated me on how to keep my house comfortable, and they showed me the difference between a cheap stop
coming up.
Game went exactly as we thought, right? First team to play defense wins.
Boy, that's the best I've seen Penn State's offense look in years.
Yeah, Drew Aller gonna Drew Aller.
So all the griping by all sides, which the sport, like I said, the sport wants it because it keeps people talking about it. I do think, and this is an early look at an angle, I think the 4 teams that are waiting 24 days to play are going to be at an enormous advantage no matter who they play in the second round. And that's Arizona State, Oregon, Boise State, and Georgia. As a matter of fact, I don't know. We talked about the NFL one last week where the whole idea of the bye week being such an advantage or such a help to a team in the NFL, it's really kind of gone by the wayside because it used to be that you could practice the whole bye week.
Yeah.
That's how teams got the advantage. Plus, they were resting because they didn't have to play an extra game. But they took away the practice and they make guys take 4 days off. So that has completely changed the numbers on what a bye means for a team. So if Oregon and Georgia and Boise and Arizona State all get 24 days, which they do, before they play again, while the other teams they're getting ready to play are preparing for another game and then theirs, but also being able to practice during those 24 days, I'm sorry, I think that is an enormous advantage no one will talk about.
You get healthy, you get to look at both teams, you get to do a deep dive analysis.
Yep. And as you well know, having played, you can throw in all kinds of fun wrinkles with extra days. Just one extra day gives you an advantage, much less, well, in this case, it'd be basically 12 over the other team. I mean, it's crazy. To me, that is the way the schedule is playing out is wild. But that brings it back to what do you do if you're a Duck fan? So you will not get, if you're a Duck fan and you want to watch them play, or go watch them live, you will not get a weekend game left. There is no weekend.
Nope.
So you're going to have to go during the week.
So
now,
again, do you go to the Rose Bowl knowing that if you win the Rose Bowl, there's 2 more games to go? I mean, or do you wait and say, hey, I'm going to try to go to the national championship game, but they may not get there?
The Rose Bowl is on a Wednesday. Now, granted, that is a holiday, and it is sunny LA. Rose Bowl is a very special place. If you haven't been, you got to go. That would be the one I would go to if you've never been there. It's really incredible. And they would play either Tennessee or Ohio State. So either way, it's going to be a really fun game.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can wait and go Friday, January 10th in Dallas to the big, what do they call it? The Death Star or whatever.
No, I think it's in the Cotton.
Oh, no, it's Cotton Bowl.
I think it's the Cotton Bowl.
You're right. And that would be against either Clemson, Texas, or Arizona State. Or you can wait until Monday, January 20th, a Monday, and play in Atlanta, possibly against Georgia, but who knows? Could be Notre Dame, could be one of those other teams. What do you do?
Well, to me, if I'm confident in my team, I was talking to my buddy last year who's a big UW fan. We had this conversation.
What did he do?
They sucked it up and then they went. And he was like, you know what? We're gonna do
what?
We're gonna do both. He said we're gonna go to both games.
Well, the Ducks would have 3 left.
Yeah, the Ducks have 3. So herein lies the problem.
Could have 3.
And some teams may have 4.
I would skip. The Rose Bowl would not be on my. It'd be one thing. And I think his thing was they weren't certain that they were getting by Texas, right? Like if you would have told him, hey, you're playing in the national title game, I don't think he goes down. But I think if you're Oregon, I think there's a belief that you're going to beat Ohio State and Tennessee. And if that's the case, and you really believe that, like if I'm SMU, dude, I'm going to the Fiesta Bowl because I feel like I'm getting one game. And so I'm not waiting. But if I'm an Oregon,
that's at Penn, what do you mean?
That's at Penn State.
That's at Penn State. That's true. So
yeah, so you got to go. You got to travel out.
You got to travel. I just don't think if you're SMU or if you're Indiana, I don't think you can sit there and be like, well, I think I'll wait till we get into the semis. I think if you're Oregon, to me, even though the Rose Bowl is the easiest one to go to, it's an awesome game. Money and time and all that, I'm holding off, and I'm either going to the Cotton Bowl or more realistically, I think I'm just saying, hey, it's championship or bust. I'll see you in Atlanta.
The only thing I'll say to that is that just the proximity to Portland,
Yes.
Oregon, like it's an easy trip for Ducks fans, and it'll probably be by far the cheapest trip they'll have to make. So if you're
The Rose Bowl?
if you're already stretching it, and you know it's a great time, you
Yeah.
know it's a great game. So yeah, I can see them doing that if finances and time are constraints. But I'm kind of with you.
Yeah, someone's saying the Vancouver Ford text line. Alumni Association cost to go to the Rose Bowl $7,500 for 2. I usually go, but wow, how much would 3 games cost? That's what I said. If I've got to make financial decisions, and I feel like my team is going to win a national championship, and I think if you're an Oregon fan, why not you? No one's better than you. No guarantee that you're going to win, but I don't think there's any team out there that particularly scares you. Although the Penn State offense, maybe that was one of those, oh my God. I do think we can have a conversation about that the Oregon defense, probably not all that we think it is. When you look at
it's on the list.
It's on the list. But I just think, to me, if I only have the money, right, and I'm sitting there talking to my wife, I said, honey, we can go to one of these, I'm holding out. And if we get upset in one of the first 2 games, so be it. It wasn't meant to be. But for me, I'm purchasing my ticket to Atlanta, and I'll get refund. I won't buy the saver, and if it doesn't work out, then I get my money back. But I'm going to Atlanta, and I want to be there when we win a national title or nothing.
Yeah, I think I'd go to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Just because.
Just take the one in the hand.
It's guaranteed a game.
Yep.
1.
Yep.
2, it could be a great one against Ohio State, or even if it's Tennessee.
Yeah, those are that's a great game in the Rose Bowl.
It's a holiday, and it's sunny LA.
Yeah.
And that venue, man, you've been.
It's amazing.
It's
really, one of the greatest games in sports.
It really is. The
Well-
Rose Bowl. I think you lose a little something with the NFL stadium in Atlanta, and of course that's a championship. But then the Cotton Bowl, nah.
Well, it is a bummer that when I was watching some of the games, and I think the Big Ten game had a decent environment. The SEC one was good, always is. But boy, the ACC and the especially the Big 12 game, oh my God, those were terrible environments. No one was there. No one cared. I mean, 3/4. I don't know how many they announced at the Big 12 title game. The entire ACC Upper Bowl was just completely barren. The first 2 decks the top 2 decks of the Cowboy Stadium for the Big 12 was empty. I mean, it was brutal.
Well, with these conferences being less and less regionalized now, it's going to be harder when you pull an ASU to get them to that type of venue.
And so I do think that when you get to some of these games now, when you get to some of these bowl games, whether it be the one in the Cotton Bowl or the national title game, I think it's going to resemble. There's always going to be a passionate like home crowd that's going to show up for those, but I just think it's going to become more corporate. It's going to become more Super Bowl based. And if you had to sprinkle some magic dust on this and I got to play college football God, one of the things that I would do is eliminate some of these, and I would have the first 2 or 3 rounds be in home stadiums. You want to talk about an advantage, and you're saying, hey, you're the number 1 seed? Cool. You get to play at Autzen Stadium until you have to go play for the national title.
That's the one thing that I wish that you could somehow make happen with this format is the reward of the bye for those teams is great, but what would really be great is a home game.
Yeah.
So the attendance for Iowa State, Arizona State was 55,889.
That was not the case.
And outside of the COVID season, they are saying that is the lowest in the event's 28-year history.
Yeah.
And the secondary market ticket price was as low as $16 on Saturday morning.
There were not 60,000 people in that. And the Big Ten game, the get-in price was $12.
SEC championship drew 75,000.
Yeah, it was packed.
And they said it was not.
Oh,
they
it wasn't
said
sold. Or it wasn't sold out, huh?
They said it did not fill Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not even close. Big Ten championship drew 67,469. They had tickets in the upper deck for about $30 available on the day of the game, largely because Oregon fans weren't going to travel nearly all the way across the country when their team is in the playoff, win or lose. And what's the other one you said? Oh, ACC. That one.
The 2 on TV that looked bad were the Big 12 and the ACC.
Yeah,
they looked atrocious.
ACC had 53,808, and I don't have any sort of perspective on if that's good or bad for that game.
Well,
anyway,
the $30 is they were doing a thing, and it was the day before the game. I think it was Darren Ravel that had the get-in price, and the highest get-in price was the Mountain West game. But again, it was at Boise.
Home game, yeah.
It was at Boise. And then I think the SECs was the highest after that. But yes, according to him, you said the Big Ten was 30. He had the get-in price to the Big Ten game at 12
I saw 12, yeah.
$12 to get in.
I think probably secondary market.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
they got to get rid of those championship games, don't they?
Well,
or at least have them all at the home site of like the better
we
team.
can talk about it, but I mean, there's a whole thing. I mean, their hand was forced with the SMU situation. The conference title games. What was it? I think it might have been Klatt that was talking about this. He just said, we're trying to create a new era of college football, but we're trying to bring old aspects in, and they're not compatible.
Correct.
And conference title games and the way we seed it and the way we view it and the way we view getting there and the way we view scheduling, they're just not compatible. And so you're getting situations where hands are being forced, that you're forced to do something that you don't really want to do, but the system is forcing you to do it. See SMU, Alabama.
All right. Do you want to get to the Big Ten championship game, Oregon, Penn State, or the college football playoff rankings next? Which would you like?
Let's actually talk about the game, because it ended up being a great game.
Yeah, it was.
And for a while there, I didn't think it would be. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oregon wins in a blowout.
All right, well, let's do it. We'll wrap up the Big Ten championship game next on The Fan.
Oregon Ducks football is on The Fan.
Back to throwing it, rolling right. Gabriel is going to throw it downfield. Wide open. Catch made. 20. Tez inside of the 10. Tez at a 5. Touchdown, Oregon.
Pre-game, game action, and post-game coverage of the Ducks' first Big Ten season is brought to you by Coors Light, Pacific Office Automation, Mods PDX, Unitas Community Credit Union, and by Zoom Care. The Ducks play here. 1080. The Fan.
No need to feel bad for wanting quality winter golf conditions, even in the wet Northwest. It exists at Lang.
The Fan.
All right, Stockwatch coming up. We'll get into the playoff rankings. Haven't even touched on that yet. NFL weekend. Do want to tell you before we get back into the Big Ten title game that Dylan Gabriel will be in New York City. He is chosen as one of the 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, we got Dylan Gabriel, Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, and Cam Ward. And by the way, every one of them deserves to be there. It's Travis Hunter's award. I think he wins it going away. Maybe Genty, but it's Travis Hunter's. I would have liked to have seen Scattaboo there over.
I kind of thought he was going to get there.
I thought so.
After the performance in the Big 12 title
I think
game.
maybe he deserved to be there over Cam Ward, but Cam Ward had a hell of a year. I don't have an issue with anyone being there. Dylan Gabriel absolutely deserved to be there, but again, this just feels like it's going to be hard. This is like when Westbrook had the triple-double thing going in the NBA. It's going to be his award. We've never seen anything like Travis Hunter. You can debate all you want about how good he is at either one. This is Travis Hunter's award.
All right, Oregon wins the Big Ten championship, although it was, I
didn't see that one coming.
It was a little, well, it was a little, I don't know. I don't know how big the pucker factor was for Oregon fans because it felt like if their offense got the ball back, you felt pretty good about it, right?
And that was my thing is
but they punted late.
Yeah.
And that's when you went, ooh.
As close as that game was, even when Penn State had the ball at the end there trying to go down and they would need a touchdown and then a 2-point just to tie it. This is going to sound crazy. I never felt that Penn State was going to win that game. I never felt that Penn State was the better team. I never felt that game was really in danger simply because of what you said. They could do nothing to stop Oregon. Oregon did whatever they wanted, and that was, I don't know which was more shocking, to be honest with you. Watching the Penn State offense look like a real offense and just demolish a Duck defense that if you want to nitpick this Oregon team, which I still say is the best team in the country, or the number one team in the country, or the most complete team in the country, and as good a shot as any to win a national championship, I do think it's fair. Much like when Ohio State played Oregon and we lauded the Ohio State defense, and then we watched it afterwards and be like, boy, is that really as good as we thought? The Oregon defense has played 3 real offenses all year, and I think we can be honest about it.
All 3 in the tournament?
All 3 in the tournament, right? They've played Boise State, they've played Ohio State, and they've played Penn State. It's the only 3 real offenses that they've played. And they have been gashed on the ground for 34 points against Boise State. Ohio State scored 31, and with the exception of the penalty at the end, closes that thing out probably. And then Penn State did whatever the hell they wanted against them. So
Penn State got 523 yards on them.
Yes.
They rushed for 300 yards.
Yeah.
8.7 yards per rush.
Yeah.
And really the only difference was they outgained them.
The turnovers.
Penn State, 523 yards. Oregon, 469 yards.
Yeah.
The only difference was Penn State turned it over twice.
Yep. Well, and I thought the big play in the game, and I was watching it, and I turned and I said, that right there is going to be the game. One, the Aller pick, basically pick 6, was just brutal. But they had one.
Well, it wasn't a pick 6.
Well, no, but
it basically. They got down to the 6. Inside the 10 or 5.
Inside the 10.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a pick 6, but it essentially was a pick 6. When they were trading scores, and Penn State was going in to try to tie the game, they ran the unbalanced look where Ty Warren was basically the tackle, and he ran just a little seam route, and he was wide open. Just it was a touchdown. It was a walk-in touchdown, and Aller missed him. And then on 3rd and 9, for whatever reason, they ran Drew Aller on a draw, and then decided to kick a field goal. And I was like, well, that's the game. Aller just missed, and this is if I'm Penn State, this is the part that stinks. And I've been very critical of Drew Aller for 2 years. This was by far the best game that I've ever seen Drew Aller play, and yet there were 3 or 4 throws that there was the difference between Dylan Gabriel and Drew Aller.
Agreed.
And the throwing the ball up, which you can say, yeah, probably should have been a PI, it probably should have been a holding call. I don't know why you're throwing that 50-50 ball at that point when Oregon has done nothing to stop you. The Ty Warren one, there's no reason not to make that throw. And then the interception that basically turned into the pick 6. And then there were 2 others where they ended up having to try to kick the field goal. where he had wide open first downs and they pointed out on the broadcast, he just short-armed the ball and just missed guys. There were a handful of throws where he just was off. And that was the difference in this game, is that Dillon Gabriel in these big moments all year has just been a stone cold assassin.
He was clinical.
And as good as Drew Aller was in this game, he missed 4 throws that you cannot miss to beat a team that's better than you. And that was the difference in this game.
I couldn't agree more. We were talking about this on Friday that, when it gets into these games, as long as all things are equal, mostly equal on the fronts, it becomes about your quarterback and your skill guys.
Yep.
And Oregon, I've been saying this all year, Oregon's receivers might win them a championship.
Yeah.
No one can cover them.
No. Tez Johnson is special.
Penn State has, so all the other guys, but they didn't even need the other guys because nobody could guard Tez Johnson in that game. And Gabriel is clinical in how he gets them the ball, even with what I thought was a pretty decent pass rush by Penn State at times in that game. So I don't, if Oregon wins the title, it might be that.
Yeah.
Because they're good enough everywhere else, but really where they're special is, I don't know who the hell guards those guys. All of those guys, you saw Sadiq got a touchdown in that game.
Got 2.
2 of them.
I mean, Evans,
and that's just
he
the
did
thing,
get 2.
is that if they have so many other guys that are capable that it's not clearly not just Tez, but if you put all your resources on Tez, there are going to be other people that beat you.
I don't see a defense that can stop that. I mean, Georgia's the one defense that you think, okay,
You'll need a pass rush, a better pass rush still.
That pedigree can scare you.
Look, Abdul Carter is a top 10 NFL pick. And we talked about that. I don't know if there's a first-round pick on right now. And maybe, Uyunglele at some point, but he's not going to the NFL next year. I don't know if there's a first-round pick on this year's team right now. Josh Connerly made himself a lot of money and maybe a first-round tackle because Abdul Carter is as good a defensive edge rusher as there is in college football. Him, Pierce, the kid down at Tennessee, there's some good ones. But Carter is an absolute beast, and Josh Connerly kicked his ass. To watch, I think it was 35 or 37 pass snaps and didn't give up a pressure, and they didn't give a lot of help out there when he ended up on his side, and they were moving him around. 76 versus 11, it wasn't a match. Connerly whooped his ass, and I just did not see that coming. I really thought that they would have to spend a lot of attention over there, and they did not. It was really an impressive performance. Oregon's biggest players on offense, they came through. From Connerly to Gabriel, and like you said, Tez Johnson. Whether you want to call him Tank Dell, whether you want to call him Deshaun Jackson, dude, the guy's like $150. But no one can guard him. And yeah, your defense didn't show up at all, except for, 2 plays, right? The 2 interceptions.
Can I say something about that? I think Penn State, we talked about this on Friday, and we actually talked about this on Thursday with Lanning. Just as Oregon has some bias against it around the country that really isn't true. For example, they're thought of as speed and flash, and they're not tough. That is just not true. And if you say that, that's how you tell us that you don't watch them.
Yeah.
They are tough as hell. Now, their sort of reputation for not winning the big one, they're gonna have to prove that. They're gonna have to go out and win some of these big games against the Texases and the Georgias and the Ohio States. Okay, but Penn State, just as Oregon has some of that bias, Penn State has a bit of that with their offense this year. It is not just 3 yards in a cloud of dust. No. As a matter of fact, we talked to Lanning on Thursday about Kodal-Nicki, their offensive coordinator. And he said, dude, there is not a coordinator in the country that creates more explosive plays than that guy. Yeah. And if you only watch Penn State in its biggest games, I get why you would think that they don't have an offense because they only scored 13 against Ohio State. Yeah. But if you watch them the rest of the year, that is a good offense. And they had, as a matter of fact, I believe they outgained Oregon this year in all season.
I think the tough part for Oregon fans, though, is that mostly those are against your Purdues and Marylands of the world.
So is Oregon.
Agreed. But Oregon did against Ohio State.
I understand. Look, I'm not saying all of these when you get a reputation, it comes from somewhere. Sometimes it's just past reputation, and people aren't paying attention that has gone away. Oregon's toughness is a major one. And I'm not saying Penn State doesn't have offensive issues against better teams. They certainly didn't against Oregon, and we thought Oregon's defense was damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Penn State offense probably surprised a lot of people because they have the perception that it's Penn State and they don't put up a lot of yards or a lot of points. Dude, they've been doing that
Yeah,
all year.
yeah.
They have a really good offensive coordinator. They have a quarterback who is not Dylan Gabriel, but he can sling it. They have the best tight end in the country, and they ran on Oregon for 297 yards, man.
they did.
So their offense has been creating explosive plays all year. The valid part of their reputation is that they don't do it against the best teams. Well, they just did it against
did it.
Oregon.
Yep.
But they're going to have to do it more in the playoff in order to.
And Aller just can't have.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're
Can't
exactly
have
right.
the 4 or 5 throws.
He's like Quinn Ewers. Like
Yes.
when you watch Quinn Ewers, you go, where is the Quinn Ewers that everyone is raving about? And he's just not there. He's just not nearly as good as his reputation. And I think Drew Aller is the same way. Not that he's not good, and he put up 37 points against Oregon, but like you said, those games come down to the turnovers,
Handful of plays,
and a couple of throws that you miss here or there. So I think Oregon's defense, it can give up points. They've shown that they give up points to better offenses, but they also have big playmakers for big moments, right? Like even when you give up 37, you get the interception, right? That was a hell of a play.
Yeah.
Or in this game it wasn't there, but let's say the next game, maybe you've given up 35, but Jordan Birch makes a big sack or whatever. So I think that's the thing you think about with Oregon's defense is they're going to give up some. They have this year against the better offenses they've played, but they have big playmakers for big moments. I think what gives you hope for Oregon is I don't know who the hell stops Gabriel and those receivers. I really don't.
It's going to be tough.
And they have a run game too.
Yeah.
So that's the exciting thing. I don't know how Oregon fans feel if it's like they feel worse because the defense was getting gashed by Penn State, and maybe now you don't feel as good about their playoff hopes. I don't think anything has changed.
Well, at this point, the one thing we know is the Oregon defense. The numbers are a little inflated. Okay, it's not a great defense. It's a very good defense. But the 3 playoff teams that you've played, this offense is going to have to score 30 points a game to win a national championship. But the nice part is, against the 3 playoff teams, guess what you've done? Scored 30 plus points. And as long as you stay healthy, as you stated, I'm not certain there's a defense that holds them to under 30 points.
All right, well, congrats to the Duckies. They are the champions of the Big Ten. By the way, did you love that the Pac-12 won the Big Ten and the Big 12?
I love it.
Arizona State winning the Big 12.
And yet they couldn't get a TV deal.
God, isn't that unbelievable?
I know.
All right, up next, we will pregame for Stockwatch on the Fan.
Auto accident? Worried about your deductible? Don't. Before you file a claim, call Leif's Auto Collision Centers. Leif's unique program can help. Unlike the other body shops, we don't work for insurance companies. We work for you. Remember, you have the right to choose.
Odyssey Sports Station. Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this SportsCenter update. First on the Fan, the college football playoff field is set with the Oregon Ducks having the number 1 seed and a first-round bye. They will play the winner of Tennessee versus Ohio State, which takes place next Saturday. The Ducks will meet one of those two teams in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, Georgia has the 2 seed, but they'll be without their quarterback for the playoff, and there's no timetable for Carson Beck's return after injuring his throwing elbow in the SEC championship game. In college football today, Heisman finalists announced. Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and Oregon's Dylan Gabriel will all be represented at the ceremony in New York. The college transfer portal is also open. A number of notable quarterbacks entering the portal, including Miller Moss of USC, Tyler Van Dyke of Wisconsin, Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, and Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Cowboys hosting the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Kickoff is at 5:15 with the Bengals coming in as 4.5-point favorites. Blockbuster news in baseball as slugger Juan Soto has a new team. The New York Mets giving Soto a 15-year contract worth $765 million. The deal goes down as the largest in professional sports history. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Jump back to earlier parts of your favorite fan shows on the Odyssey app. The only way to rewind Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
If you can find the time to explore the mind of a stripper, then you can find the time to spend with your actual family.
Primetime with Isaac and Suk.
Damn! What they on? All steroids and no carbs? Them some thick-ass kids.
This is Primetime.
We're not like you. We're grown-ups.
Your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports. Here are Isaac Ropp and Jason Sakanik with Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right, well, we've already blown through all of our segments, and we're supposed to break right now. So this is our, this will be our Stock Watch pregame show?
Yeah.
Buck's got a lot of college football in there, I think.
And some NFL.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Things are happening in the NFL.
The people are worried about you. Your voice is still bad.
It's not great, is it?
Why is it still bad?
I don't know.
Cat AIDS is hard to kick, man.
I don't know.
Been battling it.
I know. It's not pleasant. It feels like it's okay, and then I start talking for an hour, and it goes again. So.
And he's got the little kid sickness running through his house?
Yep. He's got the little booger hands.
Oh, yeah.
Ravioli fists everywhere.
So he'll be out tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, there's your
That's
Stock
it?
Watch pregame show.
That's pretty much it.
I'd like to get
There we
into
go. I was
some
looking for that.
college football playoff rankings, but we can't start that now.
No.
It's too much to discuss.
No.
Although I would ask you this question, just to have a little nugget in the segment.
Come get a taste.
Should Arizona State have gotten the 3 seed ahead of Boise State, do you think?
Yes, I've said it all along.
Yeah.
I mean, we can sit here and talk about SMU's schedule, and they didn't beat anyone. Texas didn't beat anyone either. But having played a Mountain West schedule, it's just, you can't convince me. And Boise State's a hell of a good team. Like, if you're Oregon and you're like, oh, we want to play Boise State again, be careful. Boise State took you to the woodshed.
Who's
Damn
better?
near-
You think Arizona State's better than Boise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I just-
Arizona State looks damn
Arizona
good.
State looks real good. I'm
They
not
both
certain.
do.
Yeah, I don't really want anything to do with Arizona State at this point. They're playing hot and they're playing with a swagger, and they got that little fat bowling ball back there. It can't be tackled. I like their vibe. Boise State's a damn good team, but you just going through a Mountain West conference versus going through one of those others, it's just, I'm sorry. You will never convince me that Boise State that's one of the 4 best conferences in the country. I don't buy it.
Well, I know. I mean, I don't think they're saying that. I think they're just looking at Boise's loss at Oregon. I mean, they went to the number 1 team in the country, and they damn near beat them.
Yep.
So I think that's really the big reason why Boise got the 3 seed over Arizona State.
When I look at their schedule, I just in good conscience, I can't say that they had SMU won, and SMU and Arizona State and Boise would have been fine. I've said it all along. I think Boise State should have to play in that first round. I don't think they deserve a bye having played in the Mountain West, but the way it shook out, Arizona State and Boise got the bid.
All right, well, there is your Stock Watch pregame show. Coming up next, your Stock Watch on the Fan.
Seahawks football is Need to take stock of your rights. 1-800-DIVORCE is on your side. Call 1-800-DIVORCE today.
All right, back on schedule here. Let's turn it over to noted duck honk, Ryan Buckley.
That's right, noted duck honk here. As previously referenced by our one Jason Skanik, Joel Klatt had a lot to say about the playoff seeding, the playoff paths, and specifically how Oregon got screwed. Take a listen.
Congratulations, Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. You got absolutely screwed by the playoff committee because their sentiment of trying to create artificial floors rose some of these teams to the levels where they shouldn't be. That's the problem. The reward for going 13-0 and having the best regular season in all of college football, which is supposed to be the most valuable regular season in all of sports, the reward for that is having to play the 3 highest odds team to win the national championship. They're going to have to go through possibly Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia to win the national championship. So now it's not a true meritocracy. Now it's not a true playoff. It's not a true bracket. You set out to do something like value the conference championship game, and in doing so, you devalued the conference championship game. That's the unintended consequence.
Buy or sell.
The cost of the artificial manipulation of seeds will be borne by Oregon.
There's more.
The exact team that should have earned every right to have the easiest path to a national championship. That's what we do in every other sport.
No, we don't.
Because it's a true meritocracy in those sports, and we don't artificially pull the levers of power to bump teams up based on sentiment. We let it be.
That's such an eye roll to me.
Now, buy or sell.
Well, he is a Fox guy.
Yeah.
Buy or sell, we will see a change to the playoff format by this time next season.
I don't know about next season, but this is a 2-year run, and yes, by the end of 2 years, this will change.
You're right. It's a 2-year deal.
It's a
so
2 year
I guess by the
2026.
next iteration of it.
Yeah, 2026, it'll all change.
The SEC and the Big Ten drive this. And one of the conferences that feels like they got jobbed is going to be the SEC, who only got 3 teams in, and they're not going to stand for it. If the Big Ten feels like Oregon got jobbed with their path and that's their champion, their changes will be made. So, yes, changes are coming next year. Probably not. Year after that, absolutely, it's going to go to at least 14. Maybe they reseed, maybe more buys, all that stuff. But this is where the Joel Klatt thing, like, this is how we do it in every sport. No, you don't. NFL teams, wildcard teams, have to go on the road to play teams with worse records. The New Orleans Saints had to go into Seattle and play a road playoff game during the Beastquake when Seattle wasn't even a 500 football team. This is just ridiculous. The idea that the AFC and the NFC are equal, the AFC is a much harder path to go to the Super Bowl. In the NBA, we don't do that. How many times do we look at LeBron James over his career and be like, the only reason he got to the finals, he's in the East? Let's stop making it out like every sport, when you're the best team, you have the easiest path. Just it's such a big fat eye roll to me when we sit here, no matter what we do, and we have to constantly complain that somehow the committee got it wrong or the committee screwed over this person or that person, as if there's an easy path to a championship. By the way, the path that you want goes through Boise State. Boise State gave you probably your toughest game of the year. So my favorite thing is the one guy that you'll never hear say anything about this is Dan Lanning and Oregon. I love when someone brought up it to Lanning, he goes, what an opportunity to go improve ourselves. So Klatt was a giant eye roll today for me, but yes, changes are coming in 2 years.
Yeah, I would agree. They're going to change this. I think one of the good things about this being just a 2-year run here is that you can see what works and what doesn't and what needs improving, and they'll do that. I mean, even though you've got to watch out for special interests who have only their own interests in mind, which is why college football is such a mess sometimes, is that the SEC only wants what the SEC wants, and then the ACC only, But I do think in the end, they know, I think they'll eventually stumble their way into a better product. It will probably be a 16-team tournament. Maybe there won't be championship games. And I do think, to Klatt's point, if you want to better level out the bracket, you could. In other words, you could reseed after the first round. That would be a solution to one of the things that he is bringing up. But again, I don't think anybody's going to say it, but I really feel like Oregon gets such a huge advantage by not having to play for 24 days. it's not like it's an extra week. It's an extra 12 days over the opponent that you're going to play, and that's huge because you still get to practice. Yeah. So I don't know, man. And by the way, the key word in all of his commentary there was possibly they will have to go through all of these teams. There's no guarantee that's the path at all. No. So I don't know. I think all those Fox guys, Fox has a clear edict to try to just stir it up. And it's an eye roll. You can see right through it. I'm sad that Joel Klatt has become one of these guys because I think he's actually smart, but apparently you get into that machine and that's what they cook up, and that's what he's trying to do here. Ultimately, though, I do think they will improve the bracket, and that will come in 2026.
Well, you mentioned people with their own interests in mind. Here is Kirby Smart after the SEC championship game.
You get the first round bye. What does that mean for you?
Well, it means rest for a team that Greg Sankey and his staff sent on the road all year long. We get to take a little bit of break and get ready for college football playoff. This team needs some rest mentally, need a little time off. We're going back. We're going to celebrate this one for maybe 48 hours because this is a big one. A lot of credit and thanks to the Texas fans, to the Texas team. They got a great program. Sark does a tremendous job. But these guys right here, man, never say die dogs. Never say die dogs. 2 overtime games and keep chopping.
So Kirby complaining with their commissioner 12 feet away from him, by the way. I don't know if you saw the video of it, but Sankey looked so ticked off.
And just before you get to the stock, what he's talking about is Georgia had to play Alabama, Texas, and Ole Miss, the 3 best teams that they played all year. Yeah. They had to play all 3 of those games on the road, as if somehow Greg Sankey set it up that way.
Yes. And that's the part that bothers me. This buy or sell, that coaches politicking or complaining about their schedule should have their microphones cut off and just shut up.
Yes. Who was the ABC moderator guy? God, I need one of those guys in the presidential nominee that just cuts it off and is like, nope, I'm not putting up with this. It's just, I'm so tired in college football, from Dabo to Kirby to Lane Kiffin and guys that I like. James Franklin was doing this after the Oregon game, talking about penalties, even though there were 2 penalty difference between Penn State and Oregon. It's just, at some point, can we all just grow up in the world of college football? Which is why, and I hate it. It sounds like we're homers, and I'm really not. I'm not a Duck fan. I didn't go to Oregon. I don't have any ties there. We happen to be the home of the Ducks. But I would say this, if he was the coach of South Carolina, I absolutely love, and if you're an Oregon fan, I just think it is a feather in your cap that you seemingly have one of the only coaches that is above all of this crap. And for Kirby Smart, like I said, you just won the SEC title.
How is that the first thing on your mind?
And that's the first thing on your mind? Is to take a shot about your schedule. And the schedule thing, just in general about college football, drives me crazy because I feel like in the NBA, all we talk about is who's going to go where. Like, that's the underlying conversation, is how do we get stars? I feel like in college football, the thing we talk about more than anything else is schedule. And it drives me absolutely crazy.
You're right. It's annoying. But again, it is imbalanced. And of course, as long as it's imbalanced, people are going to gripe about it. I think that, one, Kirby is in his us against the world frame of mind.
Sure.
That's what coaches are oftentimes. That's kind of how they're.
Little old Georgia, no one thought we could do it.
That's kind of how they're wired. And just as Fox pundits are an eye roll, so are football coaches. I mean, can you think of any football coach you really want to hear from that isn't full of it? I mean, even Dan Lanning, who we love talking to every Thursday, he was on Game Day. Did you see his Game Day interview?
No, I did not.
So they had him on Game Day. And it's McAfee, Herb Street, Saban, all those guys are interviewing him. And it was good, but he said, Lanning said to them, we call you guys the machine. Nothing you say matters. Who's the host of it? Reese Davis shot that right back at Lanning and said, the same could be said about coaches. And Lanning goes, fair.
Thank you.
And that, I totally agree. And he even knows it, so a lot of these guys.
It was Kirby Smart played 8 games in the state of Georgia this year.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean.
One of the worst non-conference schedules in the country.
I wish, this is my big New Year, Christmas wish?
Christmas wish, sure.
Thanksgiving wish?
Christmas wish. Well, Thanksgiving's gone, so okay. Christmas, New Year's.
My big Christmas wish is that we would stop falling into these traps of that type of rhetoric getting us so stirred up. We got to stop this. Like, it doesn't matter what Kirby Smart says. Kirby Smart is only interested in Kirby Smart in Georgia. So, and it doesn't matter what Joel Klatt says, really. He's just trying to get a debate going that, helps.
Someone always got screwed.
And I get that, and some of it's kind of fun to engage in. A lot of people really love that. I wish the conversation we could just recognize those, eye roll them, move on, throw it in the trash, and go on to a real topic or conversation. But
at least this year,
is the way it works.
At least this year, regardless of what you think the seeding is, we get 12 and it gets to play out, and the team at the end gets to hoist it and say, hey, we went through.
I'm sorry. I don't care about any of this controversy.
Awesome.
This tournament is going to be
awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Yes. Amen.
Well, let's see if we can find some words that actually do matter. This from Steve Rabel down in the desert over the weekend.
Handoff, Charbonnet, left side, has a first down and then some. He's down to the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Seahawks. And they are still chasing Zach Charbonnet. 49 yards to pay dirt. His second touchdown of the game. The Seahawks came in saying, we got to find a way to run the ball. Holy catfish, they do. 49 yards for another 6 for Charbonnet, and the Seahawks extend their lead 23-10.
So, Path, I think we've been down here before on Stock Watch, but now the Seahawks 5-1 on the road, 8-5 in a one-game division lead. Buy or sell, the Seahawks are going to win the NFC West.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is, if the Rams play the way they did against Buffalo, and by the way, that's a big if because they haven't shown that all year. And by the way, they're going to keep getting hurt because they're all made of glass. Puka Nacua out there was playing on one leg again. That guy's just hurt all the time. And it's a volatile up and down. But the Rams at their best are really good. And by the way, when you look at the schedule, that Week 18 game might be for the division. And I don't know if anyone's going to get in with the wild card. So that may be a win, and you're in, win, lose, and go home. But the way Seattle's playing right now, that was the best game their offensive line has played. Their defense has rounded into form and is playing nasty. There was no Kenneth Walker. I really, really like the way Seattle's playing. Arizona's basically eliminated. San Francisco, whatever. They're a mash unit. It's Seattle and it's the Rams. And right now, believe it or not, I have more faith in the consistency of Seattle than I do the volatility of the Rams. So yes, a team that I thought was going to make the playoffs at the start of the year, and then about midway through, I was like, probably not. They're back. Seattle wins this division, and Seattle gets into the playoffs.
Well, I think the big thing that I keep going back to with Seattle is they were given such a crap sandwich. Here we go bitching about schedule again, and now I'm going to fall into the trap. But listen, this was tough.
Yes.
They had to play that Monday night game at Detroit. They had to play the next Sunday against the Giants and then a Thursday game against the Niners. They lost all 3 of those games. That was, 3 games in basically 11 days?
Brutal.
That was rough. And I think that scheduling quirk did factor into some of those struggles. So they were, at that point 3-3 because they started 3-0.
3-0.
And their schedule was the softest in the league to start the year, those first 3 games.
Yeah, and then they lost to the Rams. That OT game against the Rams, was a big one too. So I feel like to answer your question, yes, I think they're going to win the division because I feel like we kind of slept on them a little bit because of that little scheduling run that kind of screwed with them. This last game though is in LA. Mm-hmm. The thing that I worry about for when talking about the Seahawks or Rams winning the division is I think LA might stumble in San Francisco because they still have to play San Francisco and they have another game against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals didn't look that good yesterday, but the Cardinals can certainly beat them. Mm-hmm. So, in other words, I think the Rams have a little bit more heavy lifting to do before, and they're already a game behind before Seattle. Even though Seattle still has to play Green Bay, Minnesota. Those are out of division games. So I think it's going to be Seattle, and I think Seattle got hurt by that 11-day stretch early in the year. They're looking really good. A lot of it's matchup dependent because if you can get after Geno, I think you can warm him up and turn him over. Arizona could not do that at all yesterday. I mean, their offensive line looked great. I don't know how that happens, but all of a sudden, Seattle's offensive line looks like the best in the league. It's such a weird
they
league.
Played all year.
Such a weird league.
I just think Week 18 could be really fun if it's Seattle and the Rams and everything on the line.
Yeah,
let's go.
Because the first game was really good.
It was great.
All right, there's your Stock Watch. Each week it is brought to you by Goldberg Jones. When it comes to divorce, custody, or child support issues, trust Goldberg Jones to help. Call 1-800-DIVORCE. Phone questions answered at no charge. In the news is next, what even is vandalism? Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update. 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with his SportsCenter update. First on the Fan, the college football playoff field is set with the Oregon Ducks having the number 1 seed in a first-round bye. They will play the winner of Tennessee versus Ohio State, which takes place next Saturday, the 21st. The Ducks will meet one of those two squads in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, Georgia has the 2 seed, but they'll be without their quarterback Carson Beck for the playoffs, so there's no timetable for his return from an injured throwing elbow sustained in the SEC championship game. We do have our Heisman finalists announced. It's expected that Travis Hunter out of Colorado will win the award, but Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback out of Oregon, Ashton Genty, running back from Boise, and Cam Ward, the quarterback from Miami, have all been nominated to go to the ceremony in New York. The college transfer portal is officially open, so notable names include quarterbacks Miller Moss of USC, Tyler Van Dyke of Wisconsin, Jackson Arnold of Oklahoma, and Connor Wegman of Texas have all entered their names. Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Cowboys hosting the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Kickoff is at 5:15, with the Bengals coming in as 4.5-point favorites. Blockbuster news in baseball as slugger Juan Soto has a new team. The New York Mets giving Soto a 15-year contract worth $765 million. The deal goes down as the largest in professional sports history. For sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Tired of getting dinged by subscriptions? We won't send you a bill. Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
You know, so many people need to call Ken and Donnie at the Advocates.
Kirby Smart.
Yeah,
Lane.
Sark.
Yeah, everyone at Alabama.
They're all so hurt.
Oh,
they're all so injured.
Oh, and it's unfair.
Oh,
I've been wrong.
Hurt.
I've been wrong.
Well, the Advocates can help them, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Well, look, there was some talk that if SMU got bumped for Alabama,
Brett Lashley.
Yeah, that the ACC would have sued because that would have been 2 years in a row the ACC gets dumped for Alabama. And so, maybe they could have called the Advocates.
You're not kidding. Like, the Advocates should get into the college football game. There's more people hurt in college football than any other sport.
Yeah,
any other walk of life.
So whether you are a conference commissioner,
albeit butthurt, but still
an SEC hey, that's a real injury, man. If you've ever hurt your coccyx or something,
whoa.
Yeah, you fall down and break a tailbone. I'm telling you better call the Advocates. Or if you've actually been hurt in a real world situation and it's kind of scary because you don't know what to do, you don't know who to call, well, don't call the Ghostbusters. You call Donikin. You call the Advocates. Good people.
Personal injury attorneys, they don't get paid until you win. There is absolutely no harm in getting a consultation. So if you've been injured, you need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Call our friends Ken and Donnie. We call them Donikin. Their website, advocateslaw.com.
'Twas the week before Christmas, and I'm driving around, shopping for family all over town, when someone stops short ahead of me and my friend, then crash, someone smashes my rear end. Apparently, this jerk can't drive in the rain in his truck. Now my back is hurt and I'm missing work. Like, seriously, what the heck? I'm George McCoy from Warren Allen, Attorneys at Law. A car accident around the holidays can be especially stressful. Let me and my team take on the insurance company so you can focus on the things that matter most. Call me or go to warrenallen.com.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food, no matter what you're craving. From 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings. Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
At Harbor Freight, our low prices make us the place for gifts that keep on giving. Because when you give the gift of quality tools, you're giving someone the ability to fix, restore, and build.
Yeah.
That's vandalism?
Like
is it
that. See that?
Is it vandalism if I can just peel the googly eyes off?
Well, I'm not sure that you can just peel these off.
I can't?
Did they glue them on there?
Yeah.
Well, that you can't do.
Really? So
Well,
that's
kinda
the
funny.
definition of vandalism?
Well, I mean, you're destroying, public spaces. I tell you what, the spray paint thing pisses me off. The googly eyes, maybe not so much, but if you're making it to where we're having to spend a lot of money to get your stupid googly eyes off, then yes, arrest their dumbasses.
If someone can come by and just rip them off, no big deal. It's
no
funny,
big deal. Yeah. But if it's a thing where we have to hire someone to come pressure wash your googly eyes off, or it's destroying, like when you're peeling those off, it's wrecking the statues. That stuff pisses me off that people do that, and then we kind of collectively are like, oh, nothing we can do.
Well, they do say it's going to cost money to remove them. They've done it to 8 various art pieces around town, including a deer.
Yeah, then that's no good.
But apparently, the people in Bend think it's funny.
They like the googly eyes.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
So I think the city should just leave them up.
Just say,
roll with it.
Hey, we've improved the art. I don't know why. That's one of those that I know it's not like it's like a super serious crime, but it just makes the city look like crap. When it's like littering and when people spray paint over crap, and it just
See, at least this just feels like to me someone being funny.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel as destructive.
I don't think
but
they maybe set out for it to be destructive.
Right.
They just set out for
it'd
look
be a
at this.
joke, and everyone thinks it's hilarious.
Well, officials have said that removing the googly eyes so far has cost the city a grand total amount of U.S. monies as of today on the fan.
$7.
You said $7?
$7.
Higher.
$700.
Higher. Wrong.
How hard is it?
$700.
$1,500.
Again,
maybe stop with googly eyes.
make the person. If you catch that person, they should be on the hook for $1,500 and
Cha-ching.
actually make it a deterrent. It's like that guy. They caught the. You were gone, but they caught one of the big Portland taggers.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Nice.
And same thing, like he got probation and they're like, don't do it again, and you're not allowed to have spray paint. Like, actually make some serious consequences so it's a serious deterrent, because again, it makes the city that you live in look like crap.
We do have boots on the ground in Bend, and our reporters are reporting back to us that the googly eyes are absolutely adorable.
Oh.
So,
Well, then, hey, what the hell do I know? Maybe
much
the
like bubble bath in fountains.
Yeah. Just makes everything a little better.
Let's just lean into it. Just leave it. Is it... Well, maybe I should get to this story in our next segment because we're already late, but is it safe to camp in Portland if you don't need to camp in Portland? You know what I mean? Like,
so can
you have a home, right?
I have a home. Yes.
Do you want to camp in Portland? I mean, you can.
Just like on the street.
Well, yeah, people do it. I don't know if you've been around Portland at all, but
But not like recreation.
I don't think it's like I've never asked the BTJ, honey. Hey, I got a romantic weekend
Want to
planned.
go camping this weekend? Sure. Where are we going? Over to like up into Bend, up into the Siskiyous? No.
82nd in Foster.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just
well,
gonna
look,
head.
no one has thought of this question.
No.
But what if I want to just go camp in Portland?
I'm fascinated by this.
Is it safe to do so? The answer,
talk.
as we found out over the weekend, is no. That's next on The Fan.
This is The Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
For the Chiefs. For the division! It's the doink for the division for the Chiefs!
Who's that guy? The
Mike
doink?
Tirico.
That's Tirico. It's the doink for the division.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. Clearly, someone has sold their soul.
Chiefs do it again.
They got alligator blood, man.
Those sons of guns, man. They find a way. Although, if you're the Chargers and you kick that cowardly field goal, how did you think that thing was going to
That's
end?
right.
That's on you.
Coaches got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
The Fans Window to Sports brought to you by Window Nation. 50% off all window styles this month. A bonus 10% off just because they think you're cool. And 0% interest for 72 months. That is 6 years. Schedule an estimate now by calling 866-90-NATION or visiting windownation.com.
Yeah.
Oh, that was last night.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was her last
I
show.
saw the story of what you are about to report on.
Now coming to town. Well, that was in Vancouver, but here in Portland, Moda Center.
Yeah.
You know who will be taking the stage this coming Sunday night? Do you know?
Billie Eilish was just here on Sunday.
Do you know who took the stage last night at Moda Center?
Billie Eilish.
Yeah, Billie Eilish. That's correct.
Way to go.
I didn't know which night it was, but I know it was Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you see this story that there was a young girl from Vancouver, Washington, your hometown?
My hometown, yes.
Who, with her mother, her name is Bailey, and her mother and some of their family members and friends, they were camping outside of the Moda Center last weekend, or prior to Sunday night, to get a good seat, to get tickets or something. I don't know.
What?
Well, they were.
This isn't G.I. Joe's from 1989. You don't get seats by sitting out.
Yes, you do. There's some GA seats apparently.
Okay.
And so the GA, the sooner you get there, the better GA seat you're going to get. And they thought to camp out by the Moda Center, like full-on camping gear,
right?
To get better seats to the Billie Eilish show.
I used to do that when I was a kid. We'd camp outside of the G.I. Joe's overnight to be in line to buy tickets the next morning.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So you know the routine.
I have done it many a time.
Is this safe?
I'm guessing that camping out in front of the Vancouver G.I. Joe's in 1991 is different than camping outside of Moda Center in 2024.
No.
I'm going to say no.
Strong.
James Franklin says it is not safe.
Yes.
With a strong no, and he would be right.
What happened?
They were robbed. There was a woman who came by their campsite, and she had a knife, and she said either give them money or the sleeping bag.
Oh.
And the mom gave the woman the sleeping bag.
That makes sense. Unless the sleeping bag's really nice and you only have a few bucks on you.
She just said, here, go away.
Can I also say, like, why are you bringing cash to your camp out? That might be a cash-free transaction.
Well, I don't know if she had cash. It didn't say.
Take the sleeping bag.
So she gave him the sleeping bag, and the woman then, apparently there was a bicyclist who was with her, some guy on a bike, and apparently she pulled out a knife and tried to stab him. They couldn't tell whether or not she did or not, but apparently she did, because another story corroborates that it's the same woman. She ended up stabbing someone else nearby. Basically, it's Thunderdome down there. I don't know why the hell you would ever camp out, even though Billie Eilish is coming to town. It just doesn't seem like a good idea.
No.
Well, anyway.
That all seems terrible.
So they call the cops. And the cops show up, and right across the street from where they were was the woman with the knife and the sleeping bag. So they arrested her, and she has now been charged because little Bailey and her family aren't homeless. Now, my question to you is, if they were homeless and camping there and she took the sleeping bag, is that a crime? I don't know that it is.
It is a crime, but I think it might go ignored.
Is it?
You can only stab someone if they have. You only get in trouble for stabbing someone if they have a house.
Well, no, she stabbed. That's a separate thing.
Yeah, so the stabbing is separate.
She stole the sleeping bag, and then she also had a stabbing. She was very busy.
It was a busy night down there. Gosh, it's not funny, but I'm laughing.
It's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny.
I mean, dude, if I asked you tonight, I said, hey, dude, guess what? Social Distortion's coming to the Moda, but all tickets are GA, and you and I have to go camp out. We're going to camp out right down by the Moda Center. Coming with me?
Can I bring my gun?
You're going to be like, dude, Rob, you're an idiot.
We're not doing that.
You're asking for it.
You are. That is the definition of ask. And no offense, but I also think it's different than if you and me are camping down there than the mom and Bailey. No offense to Bailey, but yes, we wouldn't do it, let alone Bailey.
Well, 52-year-old Angelique Butler was arrested, and she is being charged.
Yeah. Well, she had a busy night. Hey, I have hot stabbing news that did not make the I was looking today to see if it would make the news, and I was a little disappointed that it didn't. The fine establishment known as Casa Diablo, one of the dancers last night stabbed the DJ and then proceeded to flee on foot. Although she didn't get very far because she was wearing a thong, 6-inch heels. They found her in the alley around the corner with the knife, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Did he play some bad songs or something?
That's what we're still trying to find a motive for it. But yeah, I was like, yeah, that's
Who stabs a
that's what I said.
strip club DJ?
Well, apparently the vegan dancer.
Told you not to play that song.
Yeah. I got that one right from the I have inside sources. I'm like I'm in the middle of breaking news. And I kept waiting and that didn't. So you asked, like, is it a story if they're both homeless? Apparently not. It's also not a story if a stripper stabs a DJ. Now, if the stripper had stabbed a patron, don't you think that makes the news?
Headline news.
Headline news.
Yeah.
But the stripper stabs the DJ.
That's right.
And you're like, yeah, that's just stripper business.
Just as Bailey was asking for it,
Yeah.
camping underneath the bridge by the Moda Center.
Yeah.
So is any strip club DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all on the same plane.
Same sort of thing.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah. I did enjoy though when she fled. She fled as soon after the stabbing, and that was my first question: was how far could just stripper possibly get? And my buddy's like, "Yeah, we found her like a block away in the alley. Stabbed the knife on her."
Casa Diablo. Don't ask me how I know this, but I do know where it's located.
Yeah, where are you?
Where it's located? Yeah. Where are you going besides running up into Forest Park? And what are you going to do up there?
Well, it's the middle of the night. You don't have again. You ran away in stripper gear, and you're not getting anywhere in those heels.
Well, but if she's downtown,
Yeah.
I'm guessing she could crawl into, a seedy bar or something and fit right in.
No one would think anything of the G-string coming in with a bloody knife.
Well, I mean, there are probably a few spots where they wouldn't.
Yeah, probably. And if you are hot, there's probably people that are willing to seek shelter. You walk in and be like, "Hey, by the way, I'm gonna need some help," and the guy at the end of the bar is like, "I got you."
Yeah, I think what you do is you go into another establishment screaming, "I've been attacked! I've been attacked! I had to protect myself." Dude, guys are gonna drop everything to help her.
That is true. Unfortunately,
she played the cards wrong.
Fortunately, she got pinched. So I don't know what the penalty for stabbing a strip club DJ is, but
depends on what kind of music keeps playing.
It's a valid point.
What if the cops show up and they're investigating? Like, can we see the playlist, please? Who let the dogs out? Yeah, we're heading out of here. There will be there will be no charges pressed.
No, everything's fine. No harm, no foul.
Quite frankly, where is the DJ? I want to slap him before I head out of here. All right, that's in the news. December 9, 2024. It's brought to you by the Advocates, injury attorneys at advocateslaw.com. The Hot 5 at 5 is next on The Fan.
Have a special somebody on your shopping list that loves to golf? Then you'll love Red Tail Golf.
From the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Brian Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the college football playoff field is set with the Oregon Ducks having the 1 seed and a first-round bye. They'll play the winner of Tennessee versus Ohio State, which takes place next Saturday the 21st. The Ducks will meet one of those two teams in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, Heisman nominees announced today. Colorado's Travis Hunter, Boise State's Ashton Genty, Miami's Cam Ward, and of course, Oregon's Dylan Gabriel, all nominated for the award. They will be on hand in New York for those ceremonies. The University of Georgia has the 2 seed in the playoff, but they'll be without their quarterback for the playoff as there's no timetable for Carson Beck's return from an elbow injury he sustained in the SEC championship game. And the college football transfer portal is officially open. Some notable names entering the portal include quarterbacks Miller Moss of USC, Tyler Van Dyke of Wisconsin, Jackson Arnold from Oklahoma, and Connor Wegman from Texas A&M. Week 14 in the NFL wraps up tonight with the Cowboys hosting the Bengals on Monday Night Football. They are just about to kick things off over on ABC and ESPN. The Bengals favored by 4.5. And a blockbuster deal in baseball as slugger Juan Soto has a new team, the New York Mets, giving Soto a 15-year contract worth $765 million. That goes down as the largest professional contract in sports history. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley, the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
The Fan Merch Locker has a new long-sleeve tee and hoodies in your favorite college colors. Get yours now at 1080thefan.com.
Good afternoon. At the tone, Pacific Daylight Time will be...
It's 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
One step closer to my own personal hell.
This is Primetime on Sports Radio 1080 The Fan.
We expect the best. We're not afraid to break someone. Do you hear me?
Primetime is your source for the best in local, regional, and national sports.
Go ahead and clap. Mediocrity deserves applause.
Isaac Robb.
I'm miserable. I had to get up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Jason Sakanet.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Primetime on 1080 The Fan.
All right, welcome back. Hope you're having a nice little Monday. It's your Sports Bros. Rop and Sook. I'm Rop. Big Sook's right over there.
Right here.
Oh, dude.
Coming up in the club tonight, we do have an arrest in the killing of the United Healthcare CEO.
This story can't get more bananas. It cannot.
And his name is Luigi.
Yes, and he's a handsome devil, and
ripped.
He's
a
like,
beefcake, certifiable.
He's like a cult hero now, and apparently he likes the Unabomber and the Lorax. I mean,
and mushrooms and Pokemon.
And his name is Luigi.
And he eats at McDonald's, but he hates the healthcare system.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's an Ivy Leaguer.
So we'll get to all that coming up. 6 o'clock, that would be the club. We have our NFL Week 14 foreskin coming up. What?
That one caught me off guard. I enjoyed that. Yeah. I'm Jason Sakanik. My penis is very, very important to me.
Now, of all the games on Sunday, there was the finish of one had me more captivated than any other. And that includes Bills-Rams. It's not Bills-Rams.
Was it that big giant New Orleans tilt?
Oh, no.
Was it Philly, Carolina?
It could have been Philly, Carolina, but there is a reason why this one was so captivating, and that we will get to this hour.
Had to be the Jags Titans.
In our Who won that game? I don't even see
the freaking Jags.
The Jags did.
Jags won that game?
10-6.
Wasn't it 3-0 at half?
I think so.
It was 3-0.
They trailed
Titans.
pretty much the whole game, and then they won.
I was watching the early morning games with my buddy up at A&A, and so they had the big
Fun.
TV. Yeah, it's a great place. You just, plop down, you can live bet a little bit. And I will say that there was an open mutiny that they tried to put the Jags Titans on one. Because,
why would they put that on there? Who's in charge over there?
There was an open mutiny because the Steelers game was on one of the smaller screens, on the big video board, and that changed real quick.
Well, I will say the morning games were pretty rough.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of good games.
No. But nothing.
But come on.
That Jags-Titans game, that may be one of the worst NFL games that we've seen in 10 years.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't see it.
You didn't miss a damn thing.
Coming up next, we'll get into the college football playoff rankings. But right now, the Hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions.
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
And hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food. Discover Victorico's new savory menu items. Order in-store, online, or get it delivered straight to your door at victoricos.com.
Who the hell are you?
Prime Time with Isaac and Sue on 1080 The Fan. Number 5.
Bucks in vacation mode.
Misfire. I was actually just trying to do too much.
Monday Night Football, Cowboys hosting the Bengals. Here is how I would like to present this game to you.
Go for it.
Since taking over for Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush has been better statistically than one quarterback in the NFL this year.
Aaron Rodgers.
Deshaun Watson. That said, he is facing a defense that is only better than one team this season.
Something has to give.
And that is the Carolina Panthers. It should be a hoot.
Yeah. Well, and if you can't watch this game, and I don't blame you, they're doing the Simpsons cast.
What does that mean?
They're doing an alternate broadcast where the players, the crowd, in real time.
It's all Simpsonified.
All the announcers will look like characters from The Simpsons. They're calling it the Fun Cast.
Why are we doing this?
I think it's because it's Cincinnati and Dallas, and no one wants to watch it.
Make sure our youth likes football.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, they did the Nickelodeon ones for a while.
Yeah.
The SpongeBob ones.
Do they still do that?
Yeah,
I think so.
Number 4.
So now they're doing a Simpsons. I'll tell you what, it's better than watching Dallas and Cincinnati in normal.
I will be watching Dallas and Cincinnati in normal.
Well, Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are worth watching, but that's about it.
Talks between North Carolina and Bill Belichick are ongoing. They say a resolution could be coming this week. Belichick was on a bunch of radio shows today, and he said, we'll see.
Yeah, he went on the McAfee show, and, he said that they're having ongoing discussions.
All right.
He said college football is becoming more like the NFL, so why the hell not?
Well, it sounds like he's trying to do the Tony Bennett, Dick Bennett thing, where he's trying to make sure that Steve Belichick gets the job after him.
Yeah.
Good call. Tulane coach John Summerall says he is staying put. He gets a big fat extension. And also out on the North Carolina job are Iowa State's Matt Campbell and Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith.
Yeah. So if North Carolina can't find anyone, they're like, fine, the winningest coach basically of all time.
Yeah, no
Bill.
kidding. It's like nobody else wants our job. Nobody wants the winningest coach in NFL history. We'll take him. He might die on the sideline, but
no one's going to relate
until
to
he
kids.
does.
No one's going to relate to 19-year-old kids better than 74-year-old Bill Belichick.
The transfer portal is open, and already over 500 scholarship players have entered. Among the names, North Texas quarterback Chandler Morris, Utah quarterbacks Isaac Wilson and Sam Heward, also Wisconsin quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. The wide receivers are flooding in as well. Tops among them, Georgia Tech's Eric Singleton Jr. He is visiting Georgia next week. Also, Texas's Jonte Cook II. He has Oregon on his short list. As of this morning, the schools who have lost the most players to the portal are Arkansas, Arizona, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. Here locally, Oregon freshman linebacker Jackson Jones has entered the portal. He did not accumulate any stats this season. Also, Oregon State is losing quarterback Giovanni McCoy.
I used to assume at this point that everyone's in the portal at all times.
I don't think it's everyone.
Everyone's got one foot in the portal. Welcome to the world of college football.
USC is losing running back Quentin Joyner.
Although USC's in for a couple of those kids, including that big stud defensive lineman from Kentucky. I guess USC's on his final list.
Number 2.
Free agent outfielder Juan Soto has chosen the Mets over the Yankees, Red Sox, Jays, and Dodgers.
All it took was $765 million.
He is getting 15 years, $765 million US. If you can't do the math, that's $51 million per. Meanwhile, former Oregon State outfielder Michael Conforto has landed with the Dodgers, $17 million for 1 year. My God.
Yeah, that's a nice little get for him, though, or get for the Dodgers.
Well, it's a get for him. $17 million?
Yeah.
I saw that figure and I was blown away.
Dude,
he's worth that?
Well, he can't stay healthy. But if he stays
and he only
healthy,
hits some of the time.
Yeah.
You put him in that lineup and he stays healthy, the protection he's going to have.
That's the thing. In that lineup, you can be a lot better hitter.
Big if, though. Phillies land Jays closer Jordan Romano on a 1-year deal. And Japanese flamethrower Roki Sasaka has officially posted, so the 23-year-old can sign with the Major League club between between tomorrow and January 23rd. And yes, all the Japanese guys go to LA. So, I mean, I'm not, I'm not, that's not a stereotypical.
No,
they do.
And they're saying
Otani
that,
did, Yamamoto did, and now they're saying Sasaki is probably going to go there too.
And they've got some big Korean stud pitcher that's about to post too. Wait till they grab him as well.
And number 1, Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel is headed to New York City. He will be one of 4 finalists for the Heisman Trophy. He'll be joined by Boise State running back Ashton Genty, Colorado's Travis Hunter, and Miami quarterback Cam Ward. The winner will be announced at 5 o'clock Saturday on ESPN.
It's awesome that Gabriel is getting recognized because I think he has been criminally underrated this year. Cam Ward has no one does. Look, this is a Travis Hunter trophy.
You look at the Vegas odds, it is Travis Hunter in a landslide.
There's some people that I think Genty will be second, and then I think there'll be a giant gap between the other two. But this is Travis Hunter's award. Whether you think that's legit or not, he's going to win it. The only one that, and all 4 of these guys are very deserving. It's awesome that Gabriel's there. I would have liked to have seen, instead of Cam Ward, I would have liked to have seen Scattaboo there for what he did. I think he has been criminally underrated, and I think Arizona State's a great story. I think he deserved to be there, but, no one's going to win this award other than Travis Hunter.
The Hot 5 at 5 brought to you by Victor Rico's Mexican Food, a hit with the whole family. Order in-store, online, or delivered to your door at victorricos.com. When you think of flavor, think of Victor Rico's. All right, believe it or not, it is 5:14 on Monday, and we have yet to discuss the college football playoff rankings.
We've danced around it.
Yeah, we've talked about the Oregon-Penn State game.
Talked about narratives, talked about coaches bitching.
Right, where Duck fans would want to travel, which game you line up to go to, and all that.
But we haven't gone through the actual ranking.
We haven't looked at, and the big argument, the big SMU-Bama debate.
Yep.
So we'll get to all of that next on The Fan.
Check out
college football playoff rankings. Here are the 4 games that we will get. Let's see, when are these? This would be not this weekend, but next weekend.
You are correct, sir.
The 20th and 21st.
Next Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. You're getting Indiana at Notre Dame. Winner will play Georgia.
Remember, these games are on home campuses, by the way.
You're getting Tennessee at Ohio State. Winner playing Oregon. SMU, Penn State. Winner playing Boise State. And then Clemson, Texas. Winner playing Arizona State.
Hey, man, I'm fired up for this.
And 3 of those 4 could be weather games, which is a little bit exciting.
Indiana, Notre Dame could be in the snow. Absolutely.
So could Columbus. So could Penn State.
Yeah. Which is kind of fun in that, although there's not a lot of I guess SMU would be a warm weather team, but Indiana, Notre Dame, I mean, both are cold weather teams. But it was always that idea of Alabama or Georgia having to go on the road and play up in the snow. That would be pretty cool to see.
Well, the big debate really came down to one thing, and boy, did they milk it on ESPN.
Yeah.
And it was kind of an absurd debate, really, because in my opinion, it's just one guy's opinion, but I don't think Alabama had a very good argument. As a matter of fact, I think their argument was just a bad argument. But because it's Alabama and they're a big name brand versus SMU, which is last year was just a group of 5, ESPN really pitted them against each other, and they made it this big thing. When the reality was, I think we all knew, particularly once SMU came back and almost won the ACC championship game, I think we all knew that SMU was going to be in this tournament.
When SMU was getting blown out early, and it's funny, I about sent out the tweet, and I was like, it's just whatever. I was like my phone was out of my reach. I was like, SMU making this really, really easy on the committee. Because I was like, dude, you're going to get thumped by 30, and the committee's going to be like, thanks for coming. But once they came back, I think it was pretty easy because so many times, because by the way, from a resume standpoint, Alabama's resume is much better than SMU's. SMU doesn't have a win over a ranked team, I don't think. And Alabama has 3, including a win over Georgia. So from a standpoint of if you actually just looked at who they played and you're going to do the schedule thing, Alabama has a better resume than SMU. But SMU got the 1 extra game to get their second loss. And they have said time and time again that they want conference games to matter. They want conference championships to matter. And if you would have bumped SMU for losing a last-second game in their conference title when they were a 1-loss team, you basically said that if you are in the ACC, if you're in the Big 12, if you're one of those conferences that isn't the SEC or the Big 10, we will never give you the benefit of the doubt under any circumstances. And I think that was a really dangerous precedent that the committee was going to set. I also think they were afraid of lawsuits and that this would have been the second year in a row that the ACC would have gotten bumped for Alabama. So it just was a dangerous precedent to set, saying that the conference title game, because at that point, do you run the risk of teams saying, I'm not playing in our conference title game?
Yeah, we all knew SMU was getting in.
They didn't have a choice.
The thing about there are 2 things that could have made the debate actually really good. One is if SMU ended up getting slaughtered in that game.
Yes.
And the second is, I think, even better, and that is if Bama didn't lose to Oklahoma, then it's like, okay.
I think Bama gets in.
They might. It's much closer if
Yeah.
Bama didn't lose to Oklahoma. But the reason why I think Alabama has just a bad argument, and I think it's kind of absurd, is yes, it's tougher in the SEC. There's no question. But that's not an argument. It's a thing, but it's not the whole thing. You still have to take care of business. It'd be like, you brought up the NFL scenario earlier. It'd be like the Steelers. Right now, the Steelers are sitting there 10-3. And their last 4, I don't know if you've seen their last 4. They play Baltimore, Philly, Kansas City, and then Cincinnati. But let's say they lose all 4. They somehow miss the playoffs at 10-7. Are they lobbying schedule? No.
Ours happened to be tough.
It is what it is. Yeah. Yes, the SEC is tougher, but what Alabama conveniently leaves out is that they lost badly and only scored 3 points to a 500 team. So shut up and beat the teams you're supposed to. That's the point of the argument that they miss. SMU, even though, yes, their conference is weaker and their schedule is weaker, of course, but they didn't stumble. You did. Indiana didn't stumble. You did. So we all know that if SMU and Indiana played Alabama's schedule, they wouldn't be in this tournament.
No.
But they didn't play their schedule.
And we don't have any other way to do it.
Exactly. All you can do is take care of your own schedule. They did, and Alabama did not. So to Alabama, sorry it's harder in the SEC. If you don't like that, move to another league. Teams are bouncing to other leagues. Something tells me you won't because you like that fat check you're getting.
Well, and Greg Byrne, who's the Alabama AD, came out and released a big statement saying that we need to evaluate our schedule and going forward. Well, guess what? You didn't lose in non-conference. You lost to two 500 football teams in your own conference. You lost to Vanderbilt and you lost to Oklahoma.
Well, you know who has the better argument? But the committee didn't rank them ahead of Alabama. South Carolina has the better argument because their 3 losses were against ranked SEC teams.
Yeah, but Alabama beat South. And this is the point. When you're dealing with this is why I roll my eyes at everyone that wants to yell and scream. When it is an imperfect system, and when you're dealing with 100+ teams, and you're dealing with all these different conferences, and even inside now these giant conferences, I think it was like Texas only played, I think, 2 of the 8 500 teams or better in the SEC. I think Indiana played 1 in the Big Ten. Like, the way now you're getting into these giant conferences and it's not by divisions.
No one's guaranteed to play any of the top teams anymore because there's too many games to go around.
Yes. So you have a system that it is impossible to have this completely settled on the field. So like for every Joel Klatt that's saying that you got this wrong and that you need to be subjective and it needs to be about resume, if you're doing that, then all you're saying is that nothing really matters than what happens on the field. And all I've ever heard from people in college football is what happens on the field should matter. And so you can say that this schedule was harder than this, but some of this comes into luck. Some of this comes into, like Michigan, for example. Who would have thought that Michigan ended up being a bad game? Who would have thought that Oklahoma ended up being a bad game? There's just no telling year to year who's going to be up, who's going to be down. And so at the end of the year, you can only control what you control, and that is trying to win the games that are put before you. And we can't just go around willy-nilly saying, well, you lost 3 games, you lost 1, but we don't like the way yours looked, so therefore screw you, you're out. I mean, last year, for God's sakes, we took a Florida State team that didn't lose a single game in a Power 5 conference, and we said, you're out because your quarterback got hurt. Well, Carson Beck, and by the way, they won their conference title game. I just like to point that out. Carson Beck is out for the year. Carson Beck isn't going to play in that, but we're not saying that about Georgia.
We didn't bump him down to the 4 seed.
Yeah.
So I think Alabama, look, all they're doing is they're trying to rely on reputation and name brand, and not even the dumb selection committee would let that fly. Yeah. I mean, come on.
You can't lose 3 games to 6 and 6 teams. You can't do it.
You cannot stumble to a 500 Oklahoma game is what I'm talking about. Yeah. You can't stumble to a 500 team and only score 3 points and get blown out and expect everyone to have sympathy for you because you're big, bad Alabama. It just doesn't work that way. So I think a lot of the debate was a little manufactured and it was a little overplayed. We knew SMU was getting in even with a loss once they came back. Yeah. It was a little dicey early when Clemson was kicking their ass. And I think we all had the same thoughts like, boy, they're going to make this hard on the committee, aren't they? But it ultimately didn't work that way. And, the other thing, too, is with SMU, Penn State, and Texas, they all 3 lost their championship game. They were not punished for losing their title games.
No.
The committee did follow through on the idea that, hey, when you play in your title game, even if you lose, we don't view that as a negative.
So again, and I heard a lot of people, some of the national pundits saying that, when you lost in the regular season, you dropped by an average of almost 6 spots. The conference, it was like 1 spot, 1.5 spots. Conference championships. And they were like, why is that? The fact that escapes people's minds is stunning. Everyone else gets to sit at home. So by that logic, if you were to bump SMU, you're basically telling anyone from Indiana to SMU or whatever to refuse to play in your conference title game because SMU sitting there.
Yeah, playing a championship game you could lose is a risk you can't take, which is a horrible message to send.
Because SMU at 11-1 is in, and no one would have questioned it. But them getting into a conference title game, playing another one while Alabama sits at home, and I'm the first one to say Alabama is a better football team than SMU. They have better wins. But you can't just sit there and tell a team that went 11-1 in a conference that we're supposed to value, the ACC, and then say, nah, now we don't really like the way you look, therefore go home, and you're going to have to play one extra game. And if we don't like the way you look in that, now we're really going to say go home. Like, that's just not that sets a precedent that you can't have in college football. And so sorry, Alabama, and sorry, the rest of the SEC, it doesn't work for you. But it will be used, by the way, in not next year, but the year after that. Yeah. It'll get used where the SEC and the Big Ten is going to throw their weight around, and they're going to get 3 to 4 guaranteed slots no matter what.
No question. They've already been lobbying for that. Two things that I think I'd be open to if they wanted to change. One is if they reseeded after the first round, I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah.
And that means, like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, if SMU beats Penn State, SMU then goes to play Oregon, not the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, because SMU is a lower seed.
Yeah.
That I can see as a little bit more balanced, and I don't mind it. The other one is I feel like the auto buys, the 4 buys, should be the top 4 in the rankings, not the top 4 conference champions.
And this goes back to, and this is the one thing that I will say, I thought Klatt was out in left field a little bit, but this is the one thing that I really agreed with him on. Him and Herbie were both talking about this. What you're doing right now is you're trying to marry the old with the new in college football. And we want to hold conferences and conference title games because, look, TV networks pay a lot of money for them, and we love to hold up the conference championship as what really matters, and coaches love that. But it's really hard to take that old school approach and marry it with the new playoff format of college football. They're not compatible. So, because if you do that, then what is really the benefit then of even having a conference title game in the Big 12 or the ACC or something like that? And certainly like the Mountain West. Like, if you're going to do that, it really does just need to get to the point where then we just eliminate college. We eliminate conference title games completely. And I just feel from TV contracts and the way conferences are going to hold those up because, as you said, like selfish interest, I just don't know if you can really do that.
If this were a 4-teamer again this year, who's in?
Well, Oregon's in.
Yep.
Georgia's in.
Yep.
You know what? Here's an interesting one. Dude, Texas hasn't beat anybody.
I don't think Texas is in.
Resume isn't that good.
I'll give you a hint. Well, this is just,
Notre Dame's probably in.
Yeah, this is just my opinion. I think Georgia, Oregon, and Notre Dame are in, and then I think the real debate is Ohio State and Arizona State.
I also think that after that Big Ten championship, you got to look at Penn State too. They went toe to toe with Oregon.
But see, this is why I think Ohio. Remember back to our 4-team
Ohio State
arguments.
Beat Penn State.
Ohio State beat them.
You're right.
And Penn State did not win the league. Yeah. So I think they're going to go with Ohio State over Penn State, and then I think they're going to compare them to the Arizona State team that they think is weaker, but is the Big 12 champ.
Yeah. I'm just glad.
I don't know who they'd put in, but
I'm just glad that we don't have to do that. I'm glad that for whatever you feel about the way it was seeded, however you feel about the way Alabama was left out or whoever.
There's always a debate.
There's always a debate. I just love that you're going to get to prove it now. And whether it's winning 3 or 4 games, winning a national title is harder than ever because I don't care who you are from Oregon to Boise State. There are no gimmies at this point. I know everyone, not everyone, but some people were upset. Oregon fan was upset about the path they were taking. But like on the other side of things, you know, like everyone's acting as if Boise State is like some sort of gimme. Do we not remember Boise State just giving Oregon everything they could handle? How many times in the NCAA tournament, the basketball tournament, do we look at a team and be like, oh my God, look at their bracket. It's so easy. And then we look down at it and that's the bracket that ends up being chaos. I mean, we can sit here and say that Texas and Ohio State and maybe having to face those teams, one, you don't know if you're going to face them. And two, like right now when I'm watching Texas play, Texas doesn't scare me. Texas doesn't look like they're playing incredibly hot right now. How much of that is literally brand name recognition versus teams that are actually playing hot right now and actually really look the part?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think the 2 hottest teams are Arizona State and probably Oregon, if you want to throw Boise State in there. And then there are other big brands that, you know, like Texas and, well, I guess Georgia's lost their quarterback, which is a whole, we haven't even discussed that.
No.
But what does that mean? Do you think Georgia gets through? I don't.
Yeah.
They're not winning a title with that guy at quarterback, are they?
I don't think so.
I mean, they're going to be tough.
Yeah.
But come on, if you're Oregon, you want to play them now that Beck's down, don't you?
I would think so. But again,
I'll tell you that team, Arizona State, I'm with you, man. I don't want any part of them.
They just look, they got a swagger and a confidence, and they're playing with their hair on fire right now. So we'll see how this all shakes out. This idea that you have to try to provide an easy path, be real careful with this idea that when the committee's job is to lay out, quote, easy and difficult paths. It's a 12-team playoff. There is no such thing as an easy path.
And there is college football playoff rankings talk. By the way, we have to wait almost 2 weeks for the damn tournament to even start. It's so stupid. And Oregon doesn't play for 24 days.
No, it's going to be weird.
And that's even their first game.
First game. A lot of rest and a lot of time to prep, though, and a lot of practice days.
So stupid. NFL Week 14 Foreskin is coming up next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the college football playoff field is set with the Oregon Ducks having the number 1 seed and a first-round bye. They will play the winner of Tennessee versus Ohio State. That game taking place next Saturday. The Ducks will meet one of those two at the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, Georgia has the 2 seed, but they will be without their starting quarterback for the playoff as there is no timetable for Carson Beck to return from the elbow injury he sustained in the SEC Championship. Heisman nominations have been announced, headlined by Travis Hunter out of Colorado, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, and Cam Ward from Miami. All 4 of those individuals will be invited to New York for that ceremony. The college transfer portal is also open. Some notable names entering the portal include quarterbacks Miller Moss, Tyler Van Dyke, Jackson Arnold, and Connor Wegman. Week 14 in the NFL is wrapping up tonight with the Cowboys hosting the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Cowboys with an early 7-0 lead. A Cooper Rush to CeeDee Lamb touchdown pass, although the Bengals are threatening. They're in the red zone right now with about 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley from 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
It's The Fan on FM. Go to 99.5 FM HD2 and enjoy high def 1080 The Fan. It's time for Who's Leading the Charge? A look under the hood at the coaches, players, and teams getting it done. Brought to you by Battery Exchange.
Levitt in the shotgun. He's got Scadaboo to his left. 3-step drop. Fires Scadaboo in the flat to the 35, the 30. He's up the sideline. He's gone. 10-5, and it's a 33-yard touchdown for Cam Scadaboo.
Yeah, a lot of people probably hadn't seen him play, maybe until the Big Ten championship game. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Jeanty, and rightly so. Jeanty's a load to bring down, but so is Scadaboo.
I thought he should be in New York. I thought he deserved to be on the Heisman stage. Now, him and his parents, they're a lot off the field as well, but that's a great story down there in Tempe, and that guy's a stud.
Who's Leading the Charge, powered by Battery Exchange. Mention code BXT10 at checkout for 10% off your entire purchase this month online at batteryexchange.com.
Auto accident? Let Lafe's Auto Collision Centers handle your claim from A to Z. We pick up your vehicle, negotiate your claim, fix it to pre-loss condition, handle the billing, and drop it off. No wonder a recent survey of Oregonians voted Lafe's the #1 choice for repairs. With pickup and delivery, pre-loss repairs, factory parts, loaners, and manufacturer's recommendations, Lafe's has been the consumer's choice for over 33 years. The law gives you the right to choose who repairs your vehicle. Choose Lafe's, the finest in collision repair.
When you gotta have Christmas music, listen to 97.1 Charlie FM this holiday season. Charlie's got the good stuff.
97.1 Charlie FM.
All right, now to the NFL, where the early slate of games was not very good. You said a lot of bad teams playing better teams, and I don't know. There just wasn't a lot of drama.
I was allergic. We were at the casino watching all the games, but Jacksonville and Tennessee was going on at the same time as New Orleans and the Giants. What?
Those are two tough watches.
I mean, that is.
Which one did you watch?
Neither. Luckily,
did you have to go split screen on that?
Well, they have all of them going at once, and I would just say that, like, once in a while, your eyes would flash over to one of those games, and you're like, "What am I doing?" And luckily,
there wasn't that much else on in the morning.
No, but I had some good cash. My big bet was Carolina catching 14 against the Eagles, and so I was that was pretty tasty.
Tell you what, so that was the game that I was glued to the ending of.
Yeah.
And that's another one that really didn't matter. Carolina's going nowhere, although they're playing better. And Eagles, even if they lost that, whatever.
Yeah.
But the reason I was glued to the end of that one, because if you didn't see it, Carolina had the ball, I think, was it at their own 1, and had to go 99 yards for the game-winning score. They were down 6. Right?
Yep.
Is that right? They were down 6, and they had to go 99 yards against the Eagles. Well, the reason I thought that was so compelling is, did you see this dude who bet $3.1 million on the Eagles' money line in that game?
I saw that.
No, I did not.
He had the Eagles' money line, which means the Eagles don't need to cover the spread. They just need to beat the Panthers.
They were 14-point favorites. It was the biggest spread in the NFL this week.
Right. So he bets $3.1 million on the Eagles' money line to win $442,000. And that son of a bitch, you want to talk about sweating bullets, because Carolina drives all the way down, and
Leggett.
Young hits, is it Leggett?
Yeah, Xavier Leggett.
Leggett at the goal line, and the dude dropped it.
Yep, it was a touchdown.
That was going to be a touchdown. Now, that was with about 44 seconds left, so the Eagles still would have maybe had time to go kick a field goal, but their kicker, all of a sudden, Jake Elliott sucks.
Yep.
He's like Justin Tucker. I don't know whose kicker is going to cost him more, the Eagles kicker or the Ravens kicker.
Meanwhile, Clemson's got some kid that can hit from 56.
There's
that was awesome, by the way.
There's a whole conspiracy. Oh, God. Can we
talk about that?
I think we can. Why SMU?
Yeah.
Kick the ball out of the back of the ends. Why?
I know.
All you had to do was give them the ball at the 25, and Clemson takes a knee. But you let the kid run it out. And by the way, he trucked your kicker, too, which was kind of hilarious. Dude, that thing was nuts.
But that kick, you don't often see a good clutch kick like that in college.
No.
54 yards?
54.
For the win?
They returned the kick for whatever reason, because they kicked it to the guy. Like 45 yards. They had one pass play for like 17 yards, and then boom, let's go out and kick it. And the dude was nails. Freaking crazy.
But anyway, that whoever bet $3 million.
I can't imagine the pucker factor.
And that there is why you don't bet big on long shot money. Or I mean, not long shot, but big favorite money lines.
And I don't remember where he wagered it, but they said it was one of the largest bets they've ever seen on a regular season football game.
If you have $3.1 million to bet, heck, you're probably
to win $440,000.
Yeah, but I guess again, that's like Floyd Mayweather stuff. And if you lose $3 million, like it's not. I doubt that guy took out a loan from a loan shark for $3.2 million or whatever it was.
Still, that's a really dumb bet.
It was a dumb bet.
But hey, tell him that he won.
Yeah, he won.
He's $442,000 richer.
And I'll say this.
Maybe he lost 10 years of his life in stress. But
that was my largest bet, and I did not think Carolina was going to win, but I thought Carolina could cover that. That was a peak one. I don't love Philly's offense the way everyone else does. Did you also hear Brandon Graham talk about A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts? There's been some scuttlebutt about
dissension with those guys.
What's going on? Brandon Graham went on his podcast today and said, he goes, yeah, they used to be friends, but one is trying to be better around 11, and 11 needs to handle him better. But he basically said they hate each other. He came out on his podcast today, and by the way, Jalen Hurts and that offense is like, without Saquon Barkley, their passing offense is still very sketch. And the surprise thing of the NFL right now is Bryce Young over the last month looks like a real quarterback, and Carolina's playing better. And I saw that 14-point spread, and that was my largest bet. I did not think that Carolina could possibly win that game, but that's a peak. Philadelphia coming off a huge win. They're playing the sorry-ass Panthers. I was like, that just screams of backdoor cover. And Carolina went toe-to-toe with them. So good for Philadelphia for winning that game. But if you're Carolina, believe it or not, I think you go into next year somewhat optimistic that Bryce Young may have figured some stuff out.
Well, they got a good young coach.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it takes young coaches a little time, right?
I mean, Bryce
and
Young
Dave Canales is doing a good job with
Bryce
him.
Young had shown no signs of life for a year and a half. Took his benching, thought his career as a starter was done, got a chance to come back in, and he has made the most of it. And good for that young man, because he was getting dragged, and he probably should have, because he just looked awful. And he doesn't anymore. There are things to build on there in Carolina.
All right, coming up next, is it Penix time in Atlanta? Next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
I went up to Coach Lane and said, I need your best 15 minutes here.
He came up to me at the beginning of the fourth quarter. He goes, I need your 15 best minutes right now.
Coach, it don't matter what you say to us, I just need your best.
It challenges me to be my best.
Just being able to have our coach's best with critical times like this, we go a long way.
I'm so proud of him and what he's done for our team. He certainly means a ton to us.
Dude, that is fantastic.
Let's talk about ball.
Tez goes up to Lanning and says, give me your best 15 right now. And he did. Well, did you think they shouldn't have punted? There was one of the, I got to go back and look at it.
See the down and distance. I know the punt.
There was one where I'm like, ooh, I don't think they should punt right here.
Yeah.
And Lanning did.
I just love that he's going up to his head coach and be like, step it up, coach.
Mods PDX, future of building is here.
It's time for the first 12-team college football playoff. Are we satisfied with the field?
This is one of my favorite things about Dan Lanning. You will not hear boo-one about Oregon having to potentially play Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia.
Talk about it and get the inside story from the home of the college football playoff. 1080.
To some degree, I think we're a little bit America's team.
The Fan.
Is it time to beef up your teeth? Dr. Lampy here for Teeth in 24. Patients tell me every day that they want to eat steak again. For 20 years, my implants have given patients back their smile and confidence to tear into a T-bone. If you can't eat them when I meet you, I guarantee you will with your new implants from Teeth in 24. Call now for your free consultation. Go to drlampy.com. It's time to beef up your teeth. Find out more at drlampy.com or 503-646-CARE. That's 503-646-CARE.
Big Souk here for the Big Ford Store, Vancouver Ford. Locally owned and #1 in customer service, forget this, the 7th straight year. Their certified staff is ready to get you in the ride you're looking for. Vancouver
680 The Fan.
True story.
Yeah, the punt I was referring to. So Oregon only punted 4 times against Penn State. 2 in the first half, 2 in the second. Of course, the last one they had to punt because they didn't. I think it was 4th and 9 or whatever.
Yeah,
deep in their own territory, and that's when Aller threw the interception, and the game was sealed. But it was the first punt of the second half. The other punt in the second half, they were up 38-24, and they had the ball 4th and 5 on the Penn State 45. I thought in a game like that where your defense is struggling to slow Penn State down, I thought for sure Lanning was going to go for that one.
Because he's aggressive.
He didn't, and he punted. And the next possession, Penn State, it only took him 6 plays to go 97 yards.
Yeah, there's always a couple of those. The one that kind of baffled me, I got to pull it up here. It was 31-24. So at that point, neither side was stopping anyone, and it was clear Penn State did not have any answers for Oregon's offense. And they went on that 11-play drive, and this is the one where they missed the field goal. And it was 3rd and 9 from the Oregon 27, and they went with a Drew Aller designed run. And to me, when it's 3rd and 9 and you run the ball and you're at the 20, whatever,
that means you're going to go on 4th.
That just means you're going to go on 4th down.
Yeah.
And he got like 5 yards. It ended up being like 4th and 4 at like the 22, 23, something like that. And they rolled out the field goal kicker. And I kind of sat there and I was like, dude, you've been gashing them. You're getting whatever you want. And you're kicking a field goal there. I was like, dude, you need to play catch up.
You either should have been throwing the ball on 3rd or you should be going for it here.
You aren't going to catch Oregon kicking field goals because you sure as hell aren't stopping Oregon. And then on top of that, the guy missed the field goal. And when he did that, I literally sat there on the couch and I was like, they just lost the game. I'm like, they are going to trail Oregon this entire time. And I know they had a chance there at the end. And that was the other one that I didn't get either. Like, why throw a 50 when you're getting whatever you want in these chunk plays? You're running them for 300 yards. Why are you throwing 50-50 goal balls down the sidelines? Now, yes, I've never been an officials police guy. It's not the reason you lost the game. Does Penn State have a gripe? Sure. Reed had him by the neck. Probably should have been a holding call. Whatever. There's questionable calls that get made all the time. But why throw that ball? By the way, hell of an interception. Holding the neck or not, dude, that's a big-time play on the outside by
Great
corner.
play. Saved the game.
Yeah, they saved the game. They being cooked. And by the way, they still
and the spread.
They still wouldn't need a touchdown and 2-point conversion.
Well, the key was it saved the spread because whether you had 3 or 3.5, all Penn State needed to do was punch it in, and they were only down 2, even if they don't get the 2-point conversion. Yeah. Then you would have been, if you were on Oregon, you would have been rooting for overtime.
Yes. And some of us, and by some of us, I mean all of us, I thought Oregon was going to win the game by 10 points. I really did. I did not think that Penn State was going to be able to do that. And it pains me because I've been on Drew Aller because he plays like crap in big games. Drew Aller played great in that game, and yet he made the basically that turned into the pick 6 where Oregon got it inside the 10. That was a killer. That 50-50 ball you can't throw. He missed a wide open Ty Warren on that unbalanced play that should have been a touchdown late in the game. And he had a couple other first down throws that he just skipped into the ground. It's like in the biggest moments, he's not the guy. You saw.
Well, we're used to watching Dylan Gabriel.
Exactly. You saw the difference between Dylan Gabriel, who's a Heisman finalist, and Drew Aller, and that honestly was the difference in that game.
So final bit from our Week 14 foreskin.
I love your peanuts, man.
Yeah.
Atlanta lost again. Kirk Cousins in the last 4 games.
Yeah. You like that? You like that?
Well, they've lost all 4. They were 6-3. Now they're 6-7. He has 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
He cannot. Did you watch any of this?
I saw some of it.
He cannot move. The Achilles,
and that was true from the start of the season.
And it felt like maybe it was getting a little better. And I don't know if there's some if the soreness has come back or whatever. But it felt like after a couple weeks they were trying to be like, no, he can move. He is playing on one leg back there.
Well,
it's bad.
Do you go to Penix because the Falcons are still in it? They're only one game back in the division. And they're 1 game behind Tampa.
Yeah.
And they've already beaten Tampa twice.
Yeah.
So the Falcons are not out of this. They can make the playoffs, but do you go to the rookie as bad as he's playing?
The only thing and this is one of those that it's hard to know. I don't know what Penix looks like in practice, but you got to wonder at this point, like where is the floor versus ceiling here, because I feel like the idea that Penix could come in and give you a spark, but also when you're putting a rookie in and there's no, like, you look at like Bo Nix, who's having a really nice year. It didn't look good early. Daniels came in, hit the ground running. Like, where is Penix's floor? Because that's kind of scary, but it does feel like the floor with Kirk Cousins, we thought that maybe that was higher. I think the floor is pretty damn low with Kirk Cousins.
Well, it can't get much worse.
And if Penix looks decent, I think you have to at least consider at this point going to him, because this is watching Kirk Cousins hobble around back there and not be able to drive the ball into windows. It's bad. And then it's in Cousins' head. And then he gets in these moments where he has no confidence and he's making horrible decisions. And I think a lot of it is that he doesn't trust his own arm.
The good news for them, 3 of their last 4, Raiders, Giants, and Panthers.
Yeah. That Commanders game, by the way, and
well, they play Washington as well.
So
3 of those teams are really bad.
And so if you're the Falcons, do you look at this and say, hey, Cousins gives us the best chance. These are very winnable games. But I also got to think, if you're Atlanta, do you really trust next year that 37-year-old Kirk Cousins is going to get his Achilles right and all of a sudden it's going to be like magical? To me, if I'm Atlanta, I just wonder if maybe the Cousins experiment, look, we tried, it didn't work. We drafted Penix. Let's see what we have in these 4. Look, they're not going anywhere, even if they win the division. And this is not a Super Bowl team. Their defense is atrocious. They have no pass rush. So to me, if I'm playing the long game, dude, I turn the page right now. And I'm going to see what I have in these 4 games with Michael Penix. And win or lose, next year I turn the page anyway. Or at least I give myself the opportunity to see what I have in real time to decide whether or not I want to run it back for one more year with Kirkers to see if he can get healthier, or really just turn it at this point and give it to Penix. So for me, as long as the practice stuff isn't bad, I don't think you lose anything by going to Penix at this point.
All right, up next, Club 1080. We have an arrest, and his name is Luigi.
It gets weirder and weirder and weirder.
Club 1080, when we return on The Fan.
Hey, it's Zook, and let's
For children.
Shut the hell up.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk.
It does go well with a chicken.
I didn't know hanging out with you was making me smarter. Full disclosure, Morty, it's not. Temporary superintelligence is just a side effect of the mega seeds dissolving in your rectal cavity.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and once those seeds wear off, you're gonna lose most of your motor skills, and you're also gonna lose a significant amount of brain functionality for 72 hours, Morty. Starting right about now.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of cheap fun.
I can see him winning this game. I can see him losing this game.
Big deal. So it's like a sweet potato pie, except without the crust.
Why is it called sweet potato poo?
Because that's what my mother told us it
And
was.
when Mommy says that's what it's called, that's what it's called.
How do you find a male hooker?
Hey,
Come on, you dumbass. Eat me.
Finally, but not last, winner of the Golden Boot, the tournament's top scorer and the Golden Ball, the best player, Megan Rapinoe.
What? Bye.
Let's hate, man.
Rocket to the dog.
Hi, peanut butter egg.
Let's press tonight.
Nice to have you along. Welcome, all of you.
Some of you.
No, all of you.
There's probably one out there that I'm like, you know what? Not you. I'm not welcoming you.
You think Luigi listens to the club?
Dude, that dude's social media is blowing up.
Sure is.
Buck is referring to Luigi Mangione.
If you thought that this story couldn't get any weirder, I give you this.
Well, I mean, I don't know how weird it is. I mean, look, it's pretty clear now that it was just...
He's some rich, spoiled kid that hated commerce but loves Starbucks and McDonald's.
It's a lone gunman.
Yeah.
So this has to do with the United Healthcare CEO shooting. We talked about it last week, where he was gunned down right there on the streets of New York. The guy, I mean, it looked like an assassination, like a hit,
like a professional hit, yeah.
But it turns out the shooter, they have caught him. He was sitting in a McDonald's in Mexico.
Yeah.
Or I mean, not Mexico, in Pennsylvania. He had pretty much the same. Yeah. He was having a margarita at McDonald's.
Yeah, I guess he was using the same.
He went to the same Chili's that Suk went to. That's what it was.
Yeah, so he had two things on his person of interest. One, he had the gun.
Yeah.
He had it. Apparently, it's 3D printed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call it a ghost gun that you can basically assemble these parts at home.
He still had it on him.
Yeah. I love, by the way, there's a lot of news stories like, oh my God, he used a ghost gun. What are we going to do about these? And like it was used. It doesn't do any good to use an untraceable gun and then just keep the gun.
Yeah, throw it in a dumpster, dummy.
The whole point of the disposable gun is that you can't trace it and you can just throw it away.
For someone that was so calculated and so planned, that was a really weird twist.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is like he kind of wants to get caught.
It does feel that way.
The other thing he had on him, he had a handwritten manifesto.
Yeah.
And it was railing against the healthcare system.
Dare I say a 2-page manifesto, though? Is
not
it
long enough?
Well, I want more from a manifesto. I feel like a manifesto needs to be at least 8 to 10 pages.
Maybe he's only 26.
Yeah. He's an Ivy League guy, though.
Maybe it's a work in progress.
I just
thought, like my manifesto, I'm still adding to it.
Still working on it?
And I do carry mine with me.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you're going to commit murder with your manifesto, I need your manifesto to be longer. And not just, I don't like the healthcare system. Like, nah.
Yeah. It's funny that he's eating at a McDonald's.
Talking about healthcare.
When he just took out the healthcare guy. At any rate, he's, boy, if you haven't seen the photo, he is a handsome devil.
Yes, he is.
He's all ripped. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they put out the most flattering photo of him.
Well, they took it right from his Facebook page.
Is that what it
he's
is?
like shirtless, like climbing the mountains in Hawaii,
Well,
ripped and like.
Well, that was off his Tinder profile. So we already have his Twitter account, which was suspended and then brought back. We have his Facebook profile, and we have his Tinder profile, and a bunch of his Google reviews as well. He's a big fan of the Lorax. He's a big fan. He gave the Unabomber's manifesto 4 out of 5 stars. And he doesn't like Japanese porn.
If you walked into that McDonald's in Pennsylvania, would you have recognized him? Like, would that have...
Nah.
Would you have been, side-eyeing him?
Nah.
I don't think I would either.
Well, but had that gone down, let's say that happened in Seattle, and they were like, hey, in the Pacific Northwest, maybe I'm looking a little closer for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Let's say it did happen in Seattle.
Yeah.
And you're in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, Yeah, that's
fair. Fair. It's right.
Are
neighboring.
you recognizing him? Because I don't think I am.
I don't know if I am, but at least I'm taking a look.
Or even coming close. Apparently, it was a McDonald's employee that was like, "Hey, you're that guy."
Oh, see, I thought I read it was an elderly patron who was also at McDonald's.
There's
Are there
so
multiple
much
reports?
information that's coming and going now. It's hard to know. I'm with Rob. I thought I read that it was an employee, but maybe I'm wrong.
I read it was an elderly person. I suppose it could be an elderly employee.
Well, I will say
the olds, nothing gets by them.
No,
That's
the
right.
olds pay attention, and this is my thing. I tend to be a looky-loo around. Like when I'm at a place, I tend to keep a general eye because I don't really trust people. So I feel like there's a chance, but I also didn't think that the photos that they put out, I didn't think they were very good. Certainly not enough to where I would be willing to call the cops and be like, hey.
Well, he had a hoodie.
I think I got it.
Yeah, that's the thing. We didn't get a great look at him, and we didn't have an identity. So saying, oh, I saw this guy,
Yeah.
that's a pretty tough.
Well, he did kind of look a little generic too, and he had a hoodie on. But
Yeah.
I mean, we did get to see his face, and he's handsome.
Yeah.
Like those eyebrows alone.
Yeah.
Should have an agent. I mean.
Oh, that dude's gonna be popular in prison.
So yeah, so he was sitting in McDonald's. They call the cops. They come and pick him up. He has the gun on him. Obviously, they can't quite yet charge him with the murder of the United Healthcare CEO, but they'll get to it. They got him for 5 other things, including 1 felony count of forgery, 1 felony count of carrying a firearm without a license.
Yeah, he had like 4 fake IDs
He had
with
4
him.
fake IDs, including the one that I guess was used to check in at the hostel. And again, the gun. Hey, dumbass, you might want to ditch the gun.
Think he was planning on using it again?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Do you think that was the Super Bowl for the Altoona Police Department?
I think so. Well, to that old, how many times, if it really was an old lady, how many times is that old lady called the cops
And
nothing
been wrong?
And been wrong?
Yeah.
That's the same old lady that called the cops on me for walking in my neighborhood late at night.
Yeah, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said he was taken into custody after he was recognized by a McDonald's employee.
Yeah.
He was found with a fake New Jersey ID. It was used in a Manhattan hostel where he was believed to have stayed, as you mentioned.
They got McLovin.
They found the ghost gun as well as a suppressor consistent with the weapon used in the shooting. He was also found with clothing and a mask that matched last week's shooting. I mean, like, the guy was not hiding.
Didn't try to ditch anything.
So I don't...
What are you doing, my man?
Well, okay, so here's another element of it that may explain something, and that is that he's mentally ill.
Yes.
He said, so there are, he has a Goodreads profile.
Mm-hmm.
Avid reader, like 400 books he's down.
Yeah, he reads a ton, and Goodreads is a profile where it lists the books that you've read, and then it lists other books that you want to read.
Yeah.
And it said that he has read or wants to read books about mental illness, the creator of the atomic bomb, the science of psychedelics, and living with chronic back pain. He's only 26.
Yeah.
So that sheds a little light into it. And in his manifesto, or no, it was Reddit. They said he was very active on Reddit, and on there he's been praising the Unabomber. He's saying peaceful protest has gotten us nowhere. People who say that violence has never solved anything are cowards and predators, which does raise a question, Jason. Where exactly did Ted Kaczynski get us?
Yeah. What do you mean, where did he get us?
Well, again, he's saying peaceful protest has
Yeah.
gotten us nowhere.
Yeah.
Where exactly did Ted Kaczynski get us?
Well, nowhere, but, blew some people up.
So kind of a bad argument.
Kind of a bad argument.
From the young man there.
Yes. Well, but again, this is, to your point about being crazy, crazy people don't know they're crazy. There's a great scene in the...
Well, it sounds like he knew he had mental illness.
Yeah, what is it? The third Silence of the Lambs movie where Hannibal Lecter is talking to Ed Norton's character. And he says, well, do you think you're smarter than me because you caught me? And he goes, no, you're way smarter than me. And he goes, well, then how did you catch me? And he goes, well, you had disadvantages. And he says, like what? And he goes, you're insane. Well, it's a hell of a point. Like, I mean, clearly the dude is a few Happy Meals short. Of a full meal there. He's
crazy.
He's crazy. And the weird part is that he has become now, and this is the whole premise behind the Joker movie, he's become like a cult hero. Dude, people are saying, dude, let this guy off. Get me on the jury.
The Altoona McDonald's is getting flooded with 1-star reviews for ratting him out.
For ratting him out. Like, dude, this guy's a cold-blooded murderer. Whatever you think of healthcare, you can't go around like the Ted Kaczynski thing. It's a very good point on you. Where did that get us? It didn't get us anywhere. Like, these idiots that think they're going to start some sort of social revolution, dude, get over yourself, D-bag.
In their defense on the 1-star McDonald's ratings, the McRib is back.
Yeah, that is true.
And that thing is, I don't know if you've ever had a McRib. It's 1 star.
Is that how why he was in the McDonald's? He had to try the McRib before he went down one last time?
And how many ladies are lining up for this guy right now?
Oh, gosh. His prison dance card, and fellas, by the way, because he's going to be popular in prison. Conjugal visits and all that stuff. He's going to be really, really popular. They're already casting him. What is Dave Franco? I think already everyone's like saying has to play him in the, the Lifetime movie. I mean, he's writing stuff on bullets. He's got Monopoly money. It's a cry against the system. Yeah, this whole thing is going to be sensationalized. They're going to cover the trial. There's going to be dancing Itos, on Saturday Night Live, and it's kind of a shame. Look, I don't know this CEO, bro. Maybe he was the devil incarnate, but at the same time, a dude was just going about his day and got drilled in the back of the head, and it's going to become a punchline. And this piece of crap is going to be viewed as some sort of like Jack Kerouac anti-hero thing. And that's a weird place we're in. And by the way, healthcare people might want to take a look at your industry as a whole when one of your own gets murdered and everyone seems to think it's kind of a fantastic thing.
I guess this CEO was one of a handful of execs too who had recently dumped a bunch of stock when they weren't supposed to, and he was getting sued for $121 million.
Yeah.
Whoa. Luigi Mangione, 26.
And the fact that his name is Luigi.
I know. So fitting. He's originally from Maryland. His last known address was in Honolulu, Hawaii. They say that he graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, and he went to prep school in Maryland. He comes from money.
He was valedictorian there.
Valedictorian, he graduated with a bachelor's and a master's degree in 4 years. He did them at the same time. Guy was very bright. Just goes to show you, those damn rich kids, they appreciate nothing.
But people who knew him, this is something I've seen over and over online, is that I guess he had a back surgery himself. You mentioned that he was reading about ailments and back pain and things like that. People who knew him said he really changed right after that procedure and kind of like went off the reservation, so to speak. And I guess family members had been trying to get in contact with him for months, and they hadn't heard from him since like early October. So it seems like in addition to having all these ideas, he did have some kind of break maybe.
Sad on all levels.
It is. Except for like social media people, because this is like gold mine. Conspiracy theorists out there and memes and...
Well, there's lots of pretty funny stuff out there about him.
There is. And I find myself occasionally chuckling, and then I try to remember that some innocent bastard just got gunned down in cold blood.
But if we can't laugh, what do we have, Jace? Look, it's not going to change.
What are the troops even fighting
That's right. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah, if we have to live with murder being sad, what are we going to do?
Right. A handsome guy named Luigi, and he's arrested at McDonald's, and he's got a manifesto, and I just hope it doesn't lead to other people. We're so dumb, and because he's so popular now, you see that he's gained it's like 40,000 people have already followed him like on all these social media accounts. And by the way, everyone, he's not going to be updating Twitter anytime soon. He's going to be a little busy for a while.
Did you see what Burger King tweeted? I'm sorry, I got to put this out there.
Did you see what they? Was this real?
Yeah.
I saw the screenshot. I didn't know if it was actually on their feed or not.
Okay, well that's a good question. I shouldn't say.
I didn't know, but if they did, it's genius.
Yeah, we don't snitch.
Should have gone to Burger King.
I got to double check on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another one was funny is somebody said, like a true Italian, Luigi Mangione's fatal error as an assassin was giving himself away by stopping to flirt with the cashier at the cafe.
It is true.
What got him.
He just kept his damn mask up.
Yeah, that's true.
Idea.
It's really true. Like if we didn't have the mask down, him smiling, flirting with the girl at the hostel, I think he gets away with it.
Can we also give some credit to the I really thought that the police department, that this was going to drag on for such a long time. They caught this bro pretty damn quick.
I told you they would.
Yeah, you did. I was like, no way.
But how much of that is just the luck of the tipster? I mean, like...
Well, call it lucky. It doesn't
Well,
matter.
it's not that the cops spotted him. They didn't track him down. Some person.
No, but it goes to show you now with the cameras and everything and how they were able to track him to the bus stop. It's hard. Everything you do now is on camera.
Well, we're also now in the world of young murderers.
Yes.
And they all have social media profiles.
I know.
You can find out everything about him online.
His cousin's a Maryland state delegate.
You think Ted Kaczynski had a Facebook page?
No, he didn't.
He was living out in the woods.
I know. And yet this dude loves
This
him.
guy has all the social meds. Of course they're going to find him.
We're
Dummy.
We're coming for you, brother. We're coming for you. Yeah, Luigi. Old Luigi. And, there's more and more is going to come out. We're going to have to hear from his parents.
Well, I was going to say, I was actually
jailhouse
curious to
interview.
hear from his parents.
Yeah. I mean, because obviously he came from a lot of, a lot of money and resources. And that's the guy that rages against the system.
I know.
Well, I guess Kaczynski was the same thing, right? He was an affluent guy.
He was a professor, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was a professor at Cal. And was it Cal and Harvard, I think he was at?
Definitely Cal. I can't remember the other one.
This is why I love being dumb.
It's just easier.
Yeah.
The world is made for dumb people.
It's bliss for us.
Yeah. I just like that he gave the Unabomber Manifesto 4 stars and he gave the Lorax 5. It's like, I like the Unabomber Manifesto, but that Lorax.
Look at this guy.
Thumbs up.
Look at this guy dragging me into muddy water here.
What did he say?
Mangione's family owns Hayfields Country Club, Turf Valley Resort, and 2 radio stations, so he was a golfer and a radio enthusiast like Rob. What do you call? What is this? Catching strays out here.
Are you the next one up?
Hey, maybe I have back surgery and I have a break. Watch out.
Well, the idea.
Who would I take out? What industry titan would I take out?
Probably like the car industry, someone that specializes
Autos.
in loud mufflers.
Muffler people, yeah.
There you go.
I could see you go into like one of those like chop shop
Find
places.
the CEO of Flowmasters or something like that.
I see you taking out someone like that. Someone who's in charge of like what was the what's the federal aviation? Like someone who's in charge of like airline regulations. Yeah, I could see you going
Air
after
traffic controllers, something like that.
Rob's had enough of this. One plane gets turned around too many. Well, just the idea that and this is the same thing for anyone that decides to go on a mass shooting or even like this, where it's just the single. The fact that you think you're going to do a damn thing. Like you like really you think
exactly.
you think that you're going to be the one to start the race war. You're going to be the one to start the culture war. You get bent. I hope you get what's coming to you in prison.
And as Deal says, I really hope he has a brother named Mario.
Mario wouldn't have been caught so easy.
Me too. Like the Sarnia brothers. What if it were Luigi and Mario? Luigi and Mario Mangione or whatever their names are.
There are so many good memes and different things out there about. I mean, just the fact that he's a handsome Italian named Luigi. A lot of soprano things coming in, you know.
Yeah.
Should have gotten caught at the Olive Garden, you know. McDonald's. Got caught at the old McDonald's. At least get caught at like a Chick-fil-A or something, right? A classy establishment. Arby's isn't snitching on you.
Makes you wonder how many restaurants or, I don't know, gas station, wherever he has been for, what's it been? It's been
a bit, right? Like
4 or 5 days?
Yeah, almost a week.
It's like middle of last week.
Makes you wonder how, like, he's just been running around with that gun and manifesto, obviously showing his face. Yeah. How many places has he gone into where no one's recognized him?
Well, it just goes to show you, too, that outside of McDonald's employees, no one's really paying attention to anything. And we're all so busy in our phones and our heads up our own ass. Like, very few people are actually paying attention to much of anything, which is why I'm surprised that someone at McDonald's was like, hey, this is it. And the fact that it would take a lot for me to call the police. Because in my own head, I'd be like, no, dude, I'm not.
What are the chances it's actually him?
Like, well,
what if you saw the gun?
Yeah, that might do it. But now I'm just going to call the cops and have some poor bastard harassed, and they're going to come in here with guns drawn, and I'm like, dude, I'm not ruining someone's day.
Yeah,
like
I gotta get my Big Mac.
Exactly. I'm just like,
then I'll call the cops.
I'm not dealing with that.
What if he escapes from prison?
With the help of some, like he's going to end up sleeping with a prison guard or whatever, and
I saw someone on Twitter say that he's going to be represented by
You
Tommy DeVito's agent.
You haven't heard that one too?
What?
So of course,
sleep with the guard, and then
now of course, like everyone's out of the woodwork saying they know, cause hey, I know this guy went to school with him, so there's a lot of that he's bi. that's floating around.
Yeah,
out
someone's
there.
like, I had a friend who made out with
They
him.
made
For
out
the
with
record,
him.
he's bi.
He's bi.
Hell, I'd make out with him. You seen him?
Look
He's
at those
hot.
abs. He does have great abs.
He's hot as hell.
He may have a bad back, but he's got fantastic abs.
Pecs too.
Should have worked out that back harder.
Did you see his Japanese rant though?
No.
He went on a whole thing about Japanese sex toys. He solved the Japanese population problems. You know, in Japan they're not having kids, and he went on a whole rant about how he could solve the Japanese like kid problem. And one of it is stop watching porn and stop using the Japanese sex toys. Talked about the Japanese masturbator sleeves that are popular over there. That was in part of his whole rant. So he clearly was a deep thinker and was taking on the problems of the world. From, the healthcare industry to Japanese masturbation toys. This man had the answer for everything.
He had a couple jokes on him too. I saw one of the Twitter replies when somebody said, do any of you idiots have a PhD? And he said, yeah, a pretty huge D.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wasn't the guy that someone's saying the psycho killers, they're all smart guys from big time universities. Wasn't the guy that killed all the Idaho students, wasn't he like a PhD guy?
I don't know, but he sure looks like one.
I think he was a PhD candidate in criminology, but I don't think he was like an Ivy League dude. But he was from the Northeast.
Yeah, and he was either a PhD guy or was, like you said, was studying to be one.
Yeah, because I know he was a TA for some classes and he was also studying.
Yeah, it's not the poor dumb kids, man. It's those rich smarty pantses. So we're all safe.
And yet he goes to McDonald's with the gun and manifesto in his pocket and just sits there.
That's the thing.
No,
He
his
has
face.
to want to have gotten caught, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, you would not have kept
He
the gun
just
that long.
didn't care.
No one can stop the McRib.
I think deep down people like this want to be, and this is part of the mental illness.
The fame.
They want the fame. They want to be.
He wants credit for what he did.
Yeah, they want to be the hero. They
want
want
the
to be
credit.
that
Yep.
guy. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up next, we have viral video news involving Johnny Manziel. Next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
Big takeaway was I think there's one negative and one positive. The negative is, oh God, what was that defensively, and is that the way you're going to look the rest of the year? Because that wasn't pretty, and they had a lot of communication breakdowns and wide open receivers, and paid a lot of attention to Tyler Warren, which left other guys wide open in certain spots. The other takeaway, though, that I had was it was really nice to see that from Oregon's offense.
Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Well, things are definitely looking better. We've got delays on northbound I-5 from south of Old Town, and your ride stays slow to the Interstate Bridge. Westbound 84, tough almost the whole way as you head onto I-5. I'm Casey. That's traffic.
This traffic report brought to you by
Chef Store.
Explore Chef Store for restaurant food and supply, no membership required. Opening in Beaverton Saturday, December 14th at 16305 Northwest Cornell Road. With 11 stores across the Portland, Vancouver metro area, we've got all your kitchen needs covered.
When you want Christmas music, head to 97.1 Charlie FM. This holiday season, 97.1 Charlie FM is Portland's fun Christmas music station.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, write this number down or put it into your phone. 800-909-1822. The IRS is hiring more staff and cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. Through special IRS programs, you may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. Tax Relief Helpers has helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. No matter what amount you or your business owe to the IRS, call our tax relief hotline now for a free consultation and see what savings you may qualify for. Don't tackle the IRS on your own, and don't risk having your wages, Social Security, even your pension seized. Call now. Call 800-909-1822. That's 800-909-1822. 800-909-1822.
Have a special somebody on your shopping list that loves to golf? Then you'll love Red Tail Golf Center's annual store-wide holiday sale, where you'll save up to 50% off all the gifts list for your golfer, including top-name clubs, balls, shoes, apparel, and much more. All under one roof and at the guaranteed lowest prices. Redtail has 30 to 50% off a huge selection of golf gear from Callaway, Nike, TaylorMade, Cobra, and many more. Not sure what to buy? How about a gift card so your golfer can choose what they want? And to make you merrier, we'll even throw in a $10 bonus for every $100 in gift cards you purchase. Or trade in your old clubs and get a 50% bonus to spend like cash on anything at Redtail. Gift cards, trade-ins, and up to 50% off store-wide, all at Redtail's annual holiday sale. Now through December 24th. Redtail Golf Center, where we guarantee the lowest holiday prices. 1/2 mile from Washington Square on Shoals Ferry. Visit golfredtail.com for details or call 503-646-5166.
Isaac and Suk here with Ken and Donnie, the advocates. Personal Injury Attorney 101, cost. People think it costs a lot of money to pick up the phone and talk to an attorney, especially ones of the ilk of Donican.
So it doesn't cost anything. It's not like the initial consultation is free. It's all free until we win, and that's when we get paid.
So if I lose, it doesn't cost me a dime.
That's correct.
You'll never write us a check. We get paid by the insurance company.
You need more than a lawyer. You deserve an advocate. Advocateslaw.com.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact, every bite is better with Pepsi.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk.
I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotch is scotch, scotch.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Suk is brought to you by Pub Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
Can I get a hot tub?
I looked on it. So his Instagram account.
Who are we talking about?
Luigi's. Luigi.
Hey.
Hey.
The murderer. He's the United Healthcare CEO murderer.
Over 30,000 new followers. Many of them saying that they like what he's got going on. Some flirty, some outright sexual comments. There's a legal defense fund for GoFundMe that's already been
People
put
are
up.
funding that? Like how much is?
I don't know. I'll have to click on it. But yeah, there's a GoFundMe for legal defense of the suspect. I mean, it's crazy. His Twitter is now up over 61,000 followers. It went from 829 followers to 61,000. It is amazing how, like fame, right? Like you mentioned, like you want to get caught. Like I wonder if deep down he's looking at this and this is everything that he wants. He loves it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, his mugshot, as you pointed out, is really something. It looks like a fashion show.
He's got a nice outfit on. He's wearing a cool scarf. And by the way, people are already doing the AI. So it's a good photo, and then people are doing AI of it where it's being brought to life, where he brings up the gun and like winks and kisses. And I mean, if you're that guy's family, was it Thompson? Who was the guy?
Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson. God, if you're the family of that, you just can't be on the internet.
No.
You're just gonna have to go away for a while.
You got to avoid it.
You got to avoid it because it's rough. I'm trying to see if I can find, because they posted a shot of the GoFundMe. I'm trying to see if anything has actually been, if anyone is donating to this. Because if so, boy, you want to talk about like having your head up your ass. You're donating to the legal fund of that guy?
Well, we've got a viral video out there involving Johnny Manziel.
No, what did he do now?
That everyone's talking about. Well, maybe not everyone.
People
are talking.
Hey. About the water.
And he's in the bathtub. By the way, he has a smoke show of a girlfriend.
Oh, that goes without saying.
Her name is Josie Canseco.
Oh,
that's Jose
Jose's
Canseco's daughter.
I can't say I knew that they were dating, but
and
yes.
she is a hot.
Canseco's daughter is absolutely a hot.
Well, they posted a video for his birthday on their socials, and they're in the bathtub together.
Hold on, Googling now.
And Manziel is getting weird looks on his faces while he is washing her hair.
They're doing it, right?
I don't think they are
or
doing
something close.
No, I just think I don't know. I have so much question.
I'm doing social media wrong.
Yeah, it's like imagine posting that.
Like I go home and I'm like, hey, BTJ, I got an idea for something. we gotta get in the shower and don't worry, it's gonna be tasteful.
Or let's just say you're harmlessly filming something, right? Like you and the BTJ are having a moment in the bathtub, whatever, as people do. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, this guy, post that, babe, post that to the meds."
And I love you, my best friend forever. I'm proud of the man you've grown into. You're the kindest heart I've ever met. How lucky. How did I get so lucky? Happy birthday, my baby.
It's so weird.
So
it's so weird.
And she thought that look of him.
Yeah, and he's back there washing her hair.
Yeah.
And I do not, for the record, I do not believe that they are doing it because there's another photo where you can see her knees up at her chest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there would be no, like, physically, that would be very, based on where they're,
Maybe. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Maybe they're flexible.
Well, but I just don't.
Rob's not seeing how.
No. Science. But, yeah, it's just weird. The whole thing's weird. And then his face as he's stroking her hair.
Yeah, his face. The screenshots of it.
And he looks terrible.
Yeah,
and
he's all bloated and fat.
Just a mess. I don't understand. Help me understand.
I don't know, man.
That one.
I am just fascinated by our need to post
What is Colorado Rockies?
things on internet now.
Especially that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess go viral, right? I mean, anything to go viral.
We're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, the CEO killer, right? I mean, just go viral. Anything you can do to go viral. Because they don't really, neither one of these idiots has a job. So I'm guessing their whole job is social media stuff. So you do what you can to get attention. I dated someone who was a big social media person, and it's exhausting. I mean, not to this level, but I just don't know how people are around when everything that you are doing, they want to film and post. Like that, I just think it takes a certain type of person, and that just is not me. That is that's a tough one.
Who would you rather hang out with, Jose Canseco or Johnny Manziel?
Oh my God.
Manziel.
Really?
Yeah, I think Jose Canseco's a psycho, not a normal person.
Have you seen Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean,
go.
first of all, Johnny Manziel golfs. He's a stick. You could go out and play golf with him.
That's true. He sports bets too.
Yeah, he has gotten into the gambling space. I see he does content on like the Action Network and other places like that. So he's dabbling in there too.
Then I guess it's Manziel.
But you got Jose Canseco, man. He was one of the Bash brothers, bro.
I think I'm with you. I think you got to go Manziel, and that pains me to say. That absolutely pains me to say. But also, can you question like what Jose Canseco's daughter is, that she's in love with Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, I've had the same thought. I'm like, what is she doing?
Yeah,
but then I remembered, she's Jose's daughter.
Jose's
so.
daughter.
Like, oh, it all fits.
It kind of makes sense that all just kind of goes together.
Well, social media is abuzz over this viral half-naked video.
Where's the...
well, fully naked.
Yeah, fully naked.
Because they're in the bathtub.
Yeah,
but
where's the Rock bathroom video? Can we get one of those tonight?
Coming soon.
I don't even have a bathtub.
We don't either, actually.
Yeah.
We have showers.
Yeah. We do it from like the hot tub or something, but it's not as cool. I don't have any hair to wash either. I gotta wash my beard. Get in there and scrub it up a little bit. And that's what gets people, huh?
Hot.
Just...
Well, I don't know that it does, but it's what they thought would get people.
Johnny Manziel. Is it good to be Johnny Manziel?
That's a good question.
I'm not certain that it is.
Could be a tortured existence.
Yeah, he has substance abuse issues or has had. Once an addict, always an addict.
Yeah, I think I'm all right, man.
So I don't know if he's sober or not, but
he won a Heisman Trophy, and
that's a tough fight.
Yeah.
He did win a high. I'm sure he has great stories, and he had a great time in college, which a lot of us did.
I'll bet you he had like a 5 or 6 year run.
Yeah.
In college and the beginning of the NFL. I bet you those are some interesting years.
I think he's got money. He's got some money.
Really?
I mean, some.
Yeah. I'm sure he still signs. Well, I mean, does the Heisman commercials and stuff. I bet he does fine.
Yeah, and he's got Jose Canseco.
Although
Jose Canseco's all
broke too.
Isn't he broke?
I bet you Manziel pieces together a pretty good living off of endorsements, and I'm sure down in Texas he signs stuff, and I bet you, maybe it's not as bad as I think to be Johnny Manziel.
I think the worst part are the addiction demons.
Yeah. I think, especially when you're down in Texas like that and you win a Heisman and all that, I'm guessing you can probably piece together a pretty good life just off of that.
How old is he?
He's got to be 30-something, doesn't he?
He made $7.7 million in the NFL.
Well, but that's half of that, and he pissed most of it away.
Of course, yeah. So I'm just saying wasn't a lot to begin. I mean, $7 million is a lot of money, but it's not like megastar money to begin with.
He's 32.
So he can reinvent himself if he,
Yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Ryan Leaf did it, right?
Yeah, see, there you go. Josie's worth $2 million, according to internet.
Yeah, and hers is probably like OnlyFans or, social media stuff.
Yeah.
I'll bet you they piece together a pretty good life. Neither one of them has a real job. They hang out, probably still get invited to a lot of parties and stuff. I'm guessing that's not that bad.
All right, do you need a stand-in girlfriend for the holidays?
Ooh, interesting. I wonder what BTJ would think of that if I subbed her
Let's
out.
get her on the horn.
Honey, what do you feel about a stand-in for all those events that, can we get a stand-in boyfriend so that I don't have to go to her events?
Imagine telling BTJ, babe, we got all this holiday stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you don't have to go. I've got a stand-in. How do you think that would go?
I got a good idea. I think it involves a fork in my eye. I'm not kidding.
That story next. Here's Buck.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Ryan Buckley with this Sports Center update. First on the Fan. In college football, the playoff field is set with the Oregon Ducks having the number 1 seed and a first-round bye. They will play the winner of Tennessee versus Ohio State, which takes place next Saturday. The Ducks will meet one of those squads in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Meanwhile, Georgia has the 2 seed. They will be without their quarterback for the playoffs, so there's no timetable for the return of Carson Beck, who injured his throwing elbow in the SEC Championship. Heisman finalists announced today. Dylan Gabriel of Oregon will be in New York, along with Travis Hunter of Colorado, Ashton Genty of Boise State, and Cam Ward of Miami. The college transfer portal is also open. Some notable names include quarterbacks Miller Moss, Tyler Van Dyke, Jackson Arnold, and Connor Wegman. Meanwhile, Week 14 in the NFL wrapping up tonight with the Cowboys hosting the Bengals on Monday Night Football. They just reached halftime with the Bengals leading at 17-10. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Ryan Buckley at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
One number does it all for contests and texting your favorite fan shows. The Vancouver Ford text line is 503-864-6FAN.
Hey, it's Rob, and for those who love to golf, you've heard how strong Langdon Farms plays in the winter. It's where I play all year, and that's because it's just a top-notch facility that provides great value on all fronts. But no course in our area is more committed to quality winter playing conditions. They invest in sanding, and the drainage is as good as it gets. You will see the difference when you play. Look, we're lucky. We can play year-round in our region, but for it to be most enjoyable, the course has to do its part, and at Langdon, they do. Langdon Farms, no better course in the Northwest for year-round golf. Book your tee time at langdonfarms.com.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, on release your Monday Night Report, absolutely free on a recorded message line, 1-800-244-5506. Cincinnati at Dallas. Cincy's offensive line provides excellent protection for the quarterback, allowing him to make plays in the pocket. Dallas' defensive line has been more disruptive this season, generating pressure on quarterbacks and stopping the run. Tonight is going to be a monster game. I got the side and total. That's 2 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. Call now. Hear him for free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Cincinnati, Dallas, side and total. I love to go 2-0 and get the next 7 days on me. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the Warehouse Club.
But
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
You'll be sorry.
In Jansen Beach, Clackamas, Beaverton, Salem, and Eugene. Video Only.
This is Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Child custody is the most emotional issue our clients face. If you're a divorcing father, the relationship with your children is about to change. But that change doesn't have to be for the worse. Kids already feel the stress of parents who don't get along, and they can thrive after a divorce. Kids trust their dads. Their dads trust Goldberg Jones. Call 1-800-DIVORCE and get your phone questions answered at no charge.
Serving the greater Portland, Vancouver area.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
Portland weather tonight, mostly cloudy with temperatures in the low 40s.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Sue.
Sitting on a cloud of judgment, handing down life lessons to all the sinners.
Club 1080 with Isaac and Souk is brought to you by Pup Beer, the official beer of Cheap Fun.
Double Sun Power!
So let me introduce you to a woman named Jasenia Rebecca.
Okay.
She's 29. And she is claiming that she is a Christmas girl. Well, she will be your holiday party stand-in.
Mm-hmm. Isn't this just a hooker?
No.
Sounds like
She's not necessarily given the favors. She's
No.
well, not those kind of favors at least.
No.
Yeah,
She's based in Miami.
It sounds like you're a hooker.
And on social media, she has released her Christmas girlfriend packages.
Mm-hmm.
And she has services that cost up to about $150 an hour. She says, hey, single guys, I'm providing a great service for the holidays. She will be your stand-in girlfriend.
Again, this just sounds like a hooker.
Well, again, you're missing the bigger point. She doesn't hump you.
Okay.
That would be a bit of a problem.
Can I ask a question, though?
Yeah.
You can pay hookers.
Wait, no.
You can pay hookers to, go on dates with you. So if I was paying a woman to hang out with me at my Christmas party and whatnot, why wouldn't I just pay someone to hang out with me and then at the end of the evening?
Well, I have to answer your question with a question. If you pay me to hang out with you,
yeah,
and I do not stoop you,
yeah,
and I don't have a history of stooping people for money,
yeah,
am I a hooker?
No.
Thank you. That's what she is.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is you don't buy that she's not sleeping with these dudes. I think that's what you're trying to say.
I'm looking at this. I'm looking at her profile.
Yeah.
She's a very curvaceous, very pretty woman.
Mm-hmm.
And what I don't understand is why a man would clearly pay a woman to pretend to like him, to put on a charade that I'm going out and doing these things, and then not the sort of man that would pay for that. Seems like he'd be willing to pay a few extra bucks for the end of the evening, unless it's the guy who thinks that, oh, I bet I can convince this lady at the end of the night to do it for free.
Well, I think she's just trying to get the guy who wants to present a certain way.
Sure.
You know?
The person who's going home to their family,
Yeah.
who everyone's saying, is he ever going to settle down? Like, it feels like he's never got a partner, and that's a point of pain for them every holiday season, so they're trying to avoid that.
And this is no offense to hookers who listen to our show. If you're listening, this is not a shot at you.
We love you.
We do love you.
Yeah.
Some of us more than others.
Hey, you're out there getting it done, man. I got no judgment.
But they're not exactly the type that you take home to family on Christmas. This young lady is more upscale, presentable. She says she'll even crack some jokes.
See, I'm willing to guess that there are the high-end gals, maybe not the ones you find on 82nd Avenue.
Well, you pay far less for this girl.
That's true.
Than the ones who have the expectation that they have to bone you at the end of it.
It's a valid point.
That's a premium.
Yeah.
This, she says, $250. She said if single men who opt for the silver package pay her $250, you have to give her a gift, and she'll show up. She'll spend 2 hours. She'll eat dinner and tell a few jokes with your family. If you pay for the gold package, which is $450, she will stay for 3 hours. While there, she will concoct a cute story about how she met the man, so his family is none the wiser. And she will even do dishes. You can get her for a 6-hour platinum package, which she will go in and help the mom. Well, that's sexist. Yeah. She will help whomever do the dishes.
Didn't her post say she would go help your mom with the dishes?
Yes,
I thought that's what it. So
yeah, that's the platinum.
Her words, not ours.
Problem is that now that you've put this out on social media, what are the chances someone's like, "Hey, I know you. There's no way you're dating my Uncle Joey. I've seen you somewhere before." Next thing
I subscribe to your page. You're not who you say you are.
Next thing you know, you're getting ratted out, and now you look like a buffoon, and you're not getting any at the end of the evening. So as someone puts out on the text line, so she's not a hooker, she's a useless hooker.
God. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's a market for this. Although,
is there?
Well, maybe. I think the idea, maybe, but I don't. She obviously doesn't know men very well.
No.
So any
maybe
man,
she does. I don't know.
No, she might. But any man who pays her $250 or more, is going to. He may not expect something sexually,
but he's thinking.
But yes, he's going to try to get
In the
in
back of his mind, something could
Yes.
happen. Yeah.
That's right.
And I think that's where this stems from, is every guy's like, yeah, at the end of the evening, she's going to be so impressed by me. No, she's not. And
No,
that strip-
she's not. She's doing it for $600.
Yeah. Is there like a reverse for this? Are women like, because I would think that a woman too at a party would want to bring, a man, no strings attached, although I'm guessing that that'd be really easy for her to find any guy. Isaac Rob, male prostitute, but with no sex.
Hey, again, not a hooker.
No. Time escort.
Yeah. Stand-in boyfriend. Stand-in hunk.com.
Here's the question. If we put this up there for the holidays and we said to listeners, for $500, I will come hang out with you at your Christmas party all day. I'll be your buddy. We'll drink, whatever. Does someone pay for you or I to hang out at their Christmas party?
Well,
I think they do.
I would like
Absolutely. Someone in this Portland metro
Yes.
area, and you guys could probably charge triple if you went together as a package deal.
Yeah, I think they do.
Yes. Yes.
I would like to state live on the air that I am not doing that.
I think Rob's for sale.
I think you have a price.
Yeah,
No.
I think you got a price.
Well, I do have a price.
5 figures
but
you're doing
it ain't
it.
$500. And I also think that Souk secretly threw that out there as a ploy to raise money for his holiday Christmas gifts for his kids, knowing full well that somebody will have you out.
Well, I was thinking about raising money for my Christmas hookers. I mean, those aren't cheap. It's expensive. So you just, I trade my time, someone else trades their time, and we're all happy and merry. Wouldn't that be great? What are you doing for the holidays? Oh, no, I got the HP party on the 12th, and then I got the Schneider gig on the 13th. That one's going to be tough. He just got my calendar all laid out, just a series of random parties that I'm going to.
I'll tell you what, I think it would be cool. It would be a cool gig if you could get into the corporate high-up, like stand-in boyfriend world for the high-up ladies,
Yeah.
Is there a market? I don't know, but if there were, that would be cool. Of course, I don't have what it takes to be that.
No one's showing up at a high-end corporate event and you're bringing me.
Yeah, or either of us. But, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, that would be...
My buddy, on last Friday, got invited to the Columbia is it the Columbia Yacht Club?
Yeah, right there on the
Yeah,
by
they were having a Christmas ships party,
Country
right?
Club.
And so I was talking to him, and he's like, hey, I got this. Me and my wife are going to this thing. He's like, what are you doing? I said, oh, my lady's gone. She was out doing something, but I'm like, I'm just hanging around. He goes, hey, the guy whose house it is listens to your show, and he would love for you to come by. And I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, well, that sounds kind of cool. And I said, hey, what's like the attire? And he's like, I'll take a photo when I get there. And so he takes this photo, and everyone is like dressed to the nines, right? Yacht club attire.
Ascot?
Oh, dude, people were decked out. And I was wearing old dirty work boots, jeans with holes in them, and a pub beer t-shirt.
Did you go?
I texted him a photo, and I was like, this might be a little awkward, but I'm not certain that I can roll in there stag like this. And the best part is his response when he saw the photo was like, yeah, maybe
let's just keep you away. Thank you.
It's like, maybe you should sit this one out. I said, yeah, no problem. No problem.
All right, we'll wrap it up next on The Fan.
An NFC rematch for the Seahawks.